Very good morning. My name is Vasudev. I am Senior Venture Coach, Venture Development Center, GITAM University. We at Venture Development Center are extending warm welcome and congratulations to one of you for making it this far. As I told you before, out of 1,000 plus applications and ideas, we have selected top 100 for this bootcamp. This is the first bootcamp we'll be having. And our first bootcamp will be covering sessions on building sustainable communities and resilient communities through innovation and the technical know-how of ideation to prototype, and also on how to prepare a winning pitch deck. And based on this, we'll be requesting you to send a modified pitch deck by 15th of July. This means this Saturday. So I urge all of you to pay attention for the next couple of hours. And a short health check. We won't be having any breaks in between. So please feel free to, between partners, take a break if at all you need. So it will be an ongoing, continuous sessions going till 12:45 to 1 o'clock. At the last, we'll be having question and answer sessions. So first, I'll request, welcome Deblina Das, our convener, SmartIDEAthon 2023, to talk about SmartIDEAthon 2023. She's a venture coach at Venture Development Center, GITAM University. She's a finance postgraduate with strong experience in startup ecosystem and banking industry. So we welcome you, Deblina Das. Over to you.
Thank you, Vasu. Good morning, everyone. I'm Deblina. And I would firstly like to congratulate all the teams for making it to the top 100. And before going ahead for this session, I would like to give you an overview of what we do at GITAM and what is SmartIDEAthon. So let me quickly share my screen.
You're able to share, Deblina?
Vasu, can you just share it? I'm unable to share the...
Sure. One moment, guys. Little difficulty with the pitch deck. Can you just reshare once again?
Vasu, you're on mute.
Meanwhile, you can share your expectation from the bootcamp and from the program. You can raise hand and we'll unmute you to speak. Can you see my presentation?
No.
Yeah. Now?
Yes, please put in the presentation mode.
Yeah. Deblina, you can go ahead.
Vasu, can you make...
I did.
Not yet.
Just enable edit.
Permits full screen.
Vasu, you have to disable the feature and share again the slideshow one.
I didn't get you.
You have to reshare once, close the share settings and share the slideshow one.
Is it visible now, full scale?
Yes. Go to the first slide and over to Devil now.
All right. So yeah, like I was saying, congratulations to everyone for making it to the top 100. And also what we do at GITAM and what is SmartIDEAthon. So GITAM was founded in 1980 by an inspired group of intellectuals and industrialists of Andhra Pradesh led by Dr. MBBS. Our vision is to become the global leader of higher education, and our mission is to impart futuristic and comprehensive education of global standards with a high sense of discipline and social relevance in a serene and invigorating. In 2019, GITAM launched its first pre-incubator called the Venture Development Center, which is the epicenter of all the startup action at Venture Development Center. We organize boot camps, workshops, certain training programs and events. The Venture Development Center consists of a dedicated team of venture coaches who are internationally trained and certified by Northeastern University of Boston. SmartIDEAthon is our annual flagship event, which takes place every year. SmartIDEAthon is a national level pitching competition for students built on themes that are currently relevant to our nation, with the aim to create sustainable and resilient communities. Keeping that in mind, we had set our themes for this year as food and health, toys for STEM, sustainable fashion, and frugal India. We have also collaborated with Startup India, Northeastern University Center for Emerging Markets, and Northeastern University Center for Entrepreneurship Education, Boston. At SmartIDEAthon, you will also have a boot camp, and also you will be given personalized coaching by internationally trained venture coaches. The cash prizes of SmartIDEAthon this year goes up to 30 lakhs. And not just that, you also have a fully and a partially sponsored trip to Boston, US. In 2022, this is what our student innovation landscape looked like. We had received 1,200 plus applications. We had reached out to 10 lakh plus students. Not just college students, we also created an impact in 600 plus school students. We had about 22 panelists, speakers, and jury. We had 300 plus volunteers who helped us in running our event successfully. We had 6 of the student clubs involved at GITAM. We had 6 lakhs plus social media footprint, and our carnival attendees exceeded 10 lakhs plus. Coming to this year, we have again received 1,000 plus applications, out of which you can see the number of applications surpassed was by Tamil Nadu, followed by Telangana, then Andhra Pradesh, and then Karnataka, and then Maharashtra. And if you can see the breakup, we have received a more number of applications in frugal innovation itself. So this year, we also look forward in having a successful event as well. Something that we did different this year was we also have certain ecosystem partners, like you can see on the screen. We have Student Right, T-Hub, V-Hub, TIE Hyderabad, GitHub, ITIC, Hyderabad Angels, Startup Hyderabad, Atal Incubation Center, JTIB, FABA, Kerala Startup Mission, Bal Vikas, Capita, and GIT. The significance of today's bootcamp would be, we would help you in a pitch deck refinement, and not just that, we've also ensured that you derive certain insights from practicing entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship educators as well. So I would wish good luck to all the teams present here. Do derive the most out of these sessions. We have something really exciting lined up for you as well, apart from the sessions. And also good luck for the upcoming process. Hope to see you all very soon in the semi-finale and finale on 24th and 25th of August and Hyderabad. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Vasu.
Thank you, Deblina, for the introduction to SmartIDEAthon. Now I request Balkumar Mathi sir. Balkumar Mathi sir. Sir is available.
Was there? May I?
Yes.
Yeah. So there are a couple of questions. Can we quickly take that questions? Meanwhile, you can unmute them and quickly take them. Deblina, you can also help them.
So I request participants to ask the questions in the Q&A session. I mean, in the tab mentioned in Q&A, not in the chat.
There are a couple of questions in the chat box.
Yes.
If you can answer that. Deblina, you can read that question. So there is a question was there for you. Do you have an accelerator? So I'll go with
Because like to answer.
Janvi Velkuru started. Janvi, can you drop your question? You wanted to say something.
So I'll answer the other question. Akshat has asked, do you have an accelerator program in Boston? Akshat, if you can see that Northeastern University Center for Entrepreneurship Education is one of our partners, and we at Venture Development Center have partnered with them, and we are engaging our pre-incubation program here at GITAM University in partnership with them. So they are one of our partners, and they are running this program at Northeastern from around 14 plus years, and we are running the program here since more than 3.5. I hope I have answered the question.
Yeah, because there's another question. What kind of inputs or funds you can provide if our startup idea is feasible enough?
Like to answer this question, there are some cash prizes which we are giving as a part of this program. And post this, we'll be organizing multiple outreach programs for which will be open for outsiders. So those communication will be sent to all of you, and you guys can also be a part of those programs. So 30 lakhs plus in this SmartIDEAthon 2023, plus you will be given a chance to take part in our outreach activities, where we'll be doing similar small pre-incubation, incubation programs in future.
Can I take one more question?
Yes.
So Diti Patel asked about major factors in judging the bond. So we'll be having a detailed session on pitch deck today by Yamini Krishna. So post that we can take this question. But basically we'll be judging based on your idea potential and market demand and your team composition and a few other factors. You'll come to know very soon.
Okay. Yamini, there is another question. What would be the market scale you are looking for when it comes to ideation stage startups? The goal should be only Indian market or international market? Yeah. So we'll come to that question. We have our next speaker here, Professor Balkumar Mathi. Over to you, Vasu, for his introduction, and then.
So now I take opportunity to invite Professor Balkumar Mathi, sir. He's Dean Innovation and Entrepreneurship at GITAM Deemed to be University. Professor Balkumar Mathi, with more than 26 years of experience in research and innovation management, he has driven international program in industry innovation. He has been involved in developing entrepreneurial initiatives within the company, coordinated open innovation programs in academic institutions and research centers. In GITAM, for the past 3 years, he has been involved in teaching innovation and entrepreneurship mentoring and developing entrepreneurship and incubation studies for the university. We welcome you, sir, and take us through a session on building resilient and sustainable communities through innovation. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Vasu, and good morning, everyone. And also congratulations to the 100 teams that have made it to the next round. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of good ideas coming in the next round. So just to kick things off and kind of set the scene, give you a perspective of what we're doing. I'll talk about resilience and sustainability as Vasu mentioned. As you are all aware, the theme of the SmartIDEAthon is indeed very heavily reliant on sustainability and resilience. You've got sustainable fashion as one of the themes. You've got food and health, which is almost by definition needing some kind of sustainability input, and resilience, of course, is something that is very, very critical. So let's go through that. And what I want to do and what I would like to achieve, and Mahesh, correct me if I'm wrong, is that I want you all as potential entrepreneurs, potential leaders of the future, to take a look to see what exactly is the situation on our planet. It can't be business as usual because things have changed a lot. And what you as entrepreneurs, not only because you have your ideas, but because you're going to create jobs and create people, you need to create the behavior that is important for all of us too.
So we have lost you. You're on freeze. We'll wait for a while.
Yeah, let's wait for a while. There would be a
So maybe meanwhile we can answer a question if okay.
yeah, Akshat, again, so I've seen a question. Will there be a chance of VC funding? This is an idea competition, and there would be some people who would be from the ecosystem coming there in the finale. But again, there would no be VDC will not be facilitating any VC funding during Smart Idea.
Yeah. So we have seen last year for a couple of winners from our chief guests and other guests. We found that they would love to invest in the ventures. So the participation in the final semi-finals and finals will be enabling you indirectly to showcase your idea and your thing that can enable it. And Pramit Mandal have a question about slides. We'll be sharing you the pitch deck format post this bootcamp, so you can share it based on that.
And there's another question: is it necessary to have a fully fledged project, or we can show the prototype? Because would like to answer this question.
Yes. So you can come up with a prototype. So it's not necessary to demonstrate a fully full-fledged project here, but your prototype should have measurable outcomes, and we should be able to ensure that the prototype is in the right direction and it is solving the end problem in the respective theme where you are participating. So if that's being demonstrated, Bajrang, I think you are at the right.
So I remember when we were about to start, there was another student, Jahnavi Velkuru, who wanted to unmute and talk. Jahnavi is still here? Jahnavi,
you can raise your hand so that we can just let you unmute and you can talk.
Yes, Bala sir is back. So over to Bala. Is he having a co-host access? Devanna, you have to make him a co-host. Yes, Jahnavi, you can unmute. Please make it fast, Jahnavi.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Jahnavi.
Yes, so my doubt was regarding how do I have to present the pitch deck for the next level, because what I've chosen is regarding medical. I really cannot present the model of it because it is related to large equipment. So how do I modify my pitch deck for you for the next level?
Got it. We'll be covering that in one of our sessions. So please continue listening.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. It's never happened before. My computer rebooted itself for some reason. So let's get on with it. Okay, let me start sharing. And right. So as you saw from, as you can see from the title, it's about, it's not business as usual anymore. We need to see what we can do to improve society. And as you young entrepreneurs, there are a lot of opportunities is within the areas that you work where you can make a difference. It's not just about saying that I want to reduce my carbon footprint or whatever. You need to change the way we do business. I'll give you a few examples, and you can then go over it, and we'll take questions as they come along. Yeah, if you have questions, you can write them in the chat box, and or you can ask them once we finish. And I'll try to keep it brief so that there's more time for you to ask questions. Right. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying right at the outset is the old ways won't open new doors. Yeah. You have a lot of things happening. We need to change the way we do things. We see a lot of changes. People talk about things like climate change. People talk about the planet becoming a lot more unlivable. But most of us think that it's somewhere in the future. No, it's here, and we need to make sure that we address those issues. Things like this that have happened last year, for example, when the world opened up after COVID. You saw these kinds of chaotic scenes where people couldn't get onto planes, people couldn't get to travel. Things changed. The pandemic created a situation where everything that we believed, assumed, and relied on changed. We thought that it would be an absolutely clear process of getting on a flight and getting out of town. But what happens is systems fail, people can't respond, and if people can't respond to simple things like a structured travel plan, then you have a problem when it comes to other areas, more complex areas like agriculture, like business, like manufacture, like making things that will keep the planet going. Yeah, this was the scene last year, for example, in London, where you had literally hundreds of thousands of bags that were left unclaimed because systems didn't work. People lost their jobs because of the pandemic. Nobody was traveling, and then when things resumed, society couldn't come back. Businesses couldn't come back and do things that they should be doing without any effort. That's one of the things about the concept of resilience, as we'll talk about, is how quickly can you bounce back from a problem, from a situation where things were not normal. Yeah. Okay. This, as you know, lots of wildfires in places that have never seen wildfires. Even in the colder parts of Canada, for example. And these are becoming bigger and bigger. One thing is, of course, about the environmental impact. One thing is about rising temperatures, and also a lot of the green cover being lost. I don't know how many of you are aware, but the earth is actually tilting because most of the groundwater has been depleted. So it actually changes the balance of nature and the balance of the planet. So a lot of things happening. You might wonder, what can I do? I am a small entrepreneur or potential entrepreneur. What can you do? Well, whatever little you can do can make a big difference. And we'll see some examples where people have said that, yes, I want to do something and I will do it in my own little way. Yeah, this is even closer to home. This is where this is my home state, where you see that except for one region which has hot weather, the rest of the state this was about 2 weeks ago, has extreme temperatures. Either a heat wave or a severe heat wave, which is not good. You can't keep this kind of thing happening every year after year. Heat wave combined with humidity, combined with less water, leads to a lot of, obviously, crop damage and reduced productivity, but it also affects people, health, well-being, etc. So when you try to feed people in a healthy manner, which some of you do under the food and health banner, you end up having a situation where, for example, tomatoes costing 160, 200 rupees a kilo kind of stuff. So you cannot afford to build a healthy planet because of these kinds of things that are happening. So if you ignore this, you ignore it at your own peril. You need to make sure that you include these kinds of factors in what you do when you are trying to run or have your startup take off. Right. Once again, Old ways won't open new doors. So we need to start seeing what can we do that helps. Yeah. So all this while we are practicing what is known as the linear economy. You take things from nature, use them to make goods, consumers use them and they dispose of them, and they don't need to do anything, the new ones become available. So it's a one-way kind of street. What is happening is then you're depleting all natural resources. There's no renewable stuff anymore. Take the example of fuel for your cars and two-wheelers, etc. It's all non-renewable. There's a finite amount. It'll run out at a certain period of time unless we invest in the so-called renewable energy sources, solar, wind, thermal, whatever. But we don't do that. And a part of it is run by big business. Part of it is the fact that we are so used to this. Change is going to take a lot of effort. So remember that the linear economy is causing the problems because people are not thinking of the consequences. Plastic pollution in the oceans, plastic pollution in fish, plastic pollution related to whatever we do, because plastic is all around us. The plastic lobby might say that, there's nothing really wrong. But what we know is that certain types of plastics are very harmful and they are not biodegradable or in some cases not recyclable, so they cause a big problem. So what we need to also look at is, when I make something as an entrepreneur, am I making it in a way that it's a renewable, recyclable, biodegradable type of material in all its avatars, whether it is packaging, whether it's the product itself, whether it's the way we distribute, etc., etc. Okay, so a lot of pressure, a lot of things related to climate emergencies, disasters, pandemics. The pandemic has also arisen because of our lack of things like enough space, enough areas to have breathable air in there. A lot of things about people being crowded into very, very small areas, especially in the dense cities of South and Southeast Asia. And this leads to newer strains appearing because the disease-causing organisms are also evolving and trying to survive, and they have to look at how to do that. And if we don't respond, then they take over. Like you saw in the COVID, the quote unquote good thing about COVID was the fact that it lasted for a short time. It was a very, very serious, horrendous pandemic, but it wasn't, something that dragged on for 10 years or something. Now it's become much more endemic to the country, to the world, actually. So when we talk about sustainability, one thing we presume that resources are finite and we should use them wisely. Okay, and that's what we need to look at when we try to do any kind of sourcing for our businesses. So it's about us now. It's about us, about our future, our children, grandchildren, etc. Because what is the world that you're going to leave them? We need to make sure that the way we do business, the way you think about how to launch a product or sell a product, is how can I meet the needs that I am setting out to fulfill without compromising the ability of generations ahead, so that they don't miss out on what they should in terms of enjoying a comfortable life. Yeah.
What is sustainability? One of the more common definitions of sustainability used worldwide is from the UN Brundtland Commission. They say sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So put simply, sustainability is about our kids and our grandkids. How do we live today so that they can thrive and future generations can also have a good life? Our planet has many resources that we depend on for food, for housing, and many of those resources can replenish. You can cut down a tree and grow new trees. You can catch fish and there will be more fish. But that only works if you do it at a rate that these systems can replenish. We call that the replacement rate. You could think of it as a bathtub, and you're draining the bathtub and filling the bathtub at the same rate. And if you do that, then the level of the water should be able to stay stable. We call that equilibrium. It's not that you're not using any resources, you are, but you're doing it at a rate that the systems are able to stay somewhat steady. Right now, and over the past few decades, what we're seeing is that we are consuming resources much faster than the replacement rate. And the result of that, draining the bathtub faster than filling it, is that those levels are going down. We're seeing fisheries disappearing and other ocean life. We're seeing forests disappearing. Of course, everyone is familiar with the impacts of climate change and, other impacts of this level of consumption, plastics in the ocean, all of these problems. So ultimately, sustainability is about understanding how all of this is connected, understanding that when you make a decision to buy a smartphone, you are impacting someone's life on the other side of the planet who's involved in mining the materials to put in that smartphone. So sustainability is about systems thinking. One of the other big frameworks that we use to talk about sustainability is the 3 E's. In business, we call that the triple bottom line. Some people call it the 3 legs of the stool. And that's environment, economy, and equity. And it's not just about understanding that we need to manage all of those. It's understanding how they're connected. So if you only look at short-term economic profit, then you're not going to end up with a thriving economy in the long term. If you're only looking at conserving the environment without thinking about economics and understanding, how people are making their livelihood, you also may not end up with a thriving society. And if you aren't looking at equity, you're going to end up with a few people that have most of the resources and many people who are hungry and not living a good life. And that's not really a successful human society either. So sustainability is really about addressing all of those and understanding the connections between them.
So when essentially it's for you to understand how the way I do business impacts everybody else. And you might think that I'm going to be a very small player, but no, even a small player, hundreds and millions of small players can make a big difference. So essentially what the world needs is that, okay, when I propose a business idea, I need to put a filter of sustainability, the 3 E's, equity, economy, and the environment. Can we make sure that what we do is not going to change things? Even if you start with that one thought, you can then move on to doing something that is even different. When we teach entrepreneurship to our students in GITAM, and a lot of the GITAM people will realize that, we talk about how to make a successful business run while at the same time looking at social and sustainability issues. That's always going to be the paradigm that we're going to use. Yeah. So the other side of it is something known as resilience. The reason we have issues is because the planet or its resources cannot bounce back in time, to be able to produce and provide the kinds of resources we need. That's what we mean by things are not renewable. If you have renewable resources, resilience would come in. So resilience is really the ability, the capacity of a system. A system is, like you saw in the video, it could be you and me, it could be a city, it could be a country. If you become a very successful entrepreneur, it's about saying that all the people I impact, if I'm selling in one state versus 2 states versus the whole country, what is the impact and how can things bounce back? What, for example, if I'm a delivery service like Swiggy or Zomato, I need to think about what is the impact of all this kind of trend in terms of online ordering that came about due to the pandemic, and how can it affect the environment in a deleterious way, and what can I as Swiggy or Zomato or even a local delivery person do to change that? One of the things that is done then is to trying to see whether you can actually reduce the amount of cutlery that you get so that you don't create a waste situation there with plastic spoons, forks, etc. So these are small actions that you can use. You can do to kind of create that resilience. So what it does, it gives all your community that you impact, the suppliers, the environment, the crops, the animals, etc., to actually have the time and space to bounce back, so that you go back to levels where you don't keep depleting the planet. You have heard a lot of things about the controversies related to companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, because drink consumption is so high and they are actually depleting the water table wherever they make their beverages. So you might think that, this has no impact on me, but at some point, like we talked about the earth tilting, you reach a stage where there's so little groundwater left that unless we give it time for to the earth to replenish its groundwater, you're going to have a big problem in the future. Droughts in some areas, sudden floods in other areas, so a lot of catastrophes. And once again, think about what you can do in your own small way to try and prevent that from happening. Yeah? Right? So how can I create a business that will help the environment also successfully adapt and respond? Anybody, whether it's an individual being affected, whether it's a community, right? Don't worry too much about this. These are the kinds of activities that are either very sustainable or not. You need to think about what you do. And as you can see, where it says business as usual, you have it's kind of a low sustainability kind environment. So so a lot of theory. Let's move on from there. And what people are trying to do, and again, this is where the business end comes in, is can I use something where the system, the business that I do is restoring or regenerative. It's called the circular economy, where the waste of one activity becomes the raw material for the next. And that way you can shift to renewable energy, eliminate toxic chemicals, what have you. And these are a lot of not just ideas, but things that have been implemented. And you'll see a couple of examples of that, where responsible businesses are trying very hard to change the way we do business actually. So this is what we mean by the circular economy. Just to say that you design your business in such a way that you make things in a very sustainable manner. Your distribution systems are very efficient so that there is less reduction. So you might want to think about, for example, if I'm going to make an ice cream, what is best? Is it best to make it in one location, one big location, and then transport it across the country, which means that you need to have chilling facilities, freezing facilities, minus 18 degrees Celsius, storage in trucks, and they have to go all across the country. So imagine the energy cost there. Or do you say that I'm going to set up small units in every part of the country so that the things have to travel less? It's not that easy as saying one is better than the other. You need to be able to understand how those logistics work. Yes, in terms of distribution, in terms of consumption, how are my consumers using the product? Am I creating some packaging where 30% of the product is left over at the end, but the consumer cannot access it because the packaging is bad? You've seen that in some of the old, whether they're tubes, whether they're bottles for shampoos, for gels and foods, etc. How can I make that packaging not only sustainable, but allow the consumer to use the product as much as they can? And then, of course, the recycling bit, where you collect and you recycle. So either recycle or restore or redirect in a certain way, so that as much as possible you reuse. Residual waste then becomes lesser and lesser. That is the goal that we want to reach. We don't want to then have too many problems with the raw materials which are in a finite amount. So that's something you need to think about. Sometimes people say, oh yeah, this is a new kind of use here, the plastic goes here instead of, so we make toys, we make this, we make that and everything else. But even that is pushing the problem to the future. You might say that I'm not throwing the plastic now, I'm recycling it into toys. But 20 years down the line, those toys are going to be again part of the landfill. So what are the other solutions that you need to find? Always thinking out of the box. Yeah. The fashion industry is one of, because sustainable fashion is a theme. And the reason it's a theme for us in this SmartIDEAthon is that the fashion industry is one of the biggest contributors. And it's also one of the areas where there could be a big impact if behavior changes happen. Yeah. So fashion industry has doubled. But look at that, 40% of clothing, has to be recycled, but it's not. Yeah, 73% is burned in landfills, and burning clothing, let me assure you, is not a very friendly kind of thing, and it takes a lot of impact. Yeah. and only 12% is recycled. But it's shredded. It's not something that has any kind of value, but it's shredded into some kind of rubbish. And less than 1% of the clothing that you buy and throw away is actually made into new clothing. So that means that you are creating a problem. And clothing is notorious for being very recalcitrant. It does not biodegrade by itself. It can stay there for hundreds of years. So how do you understand this, and how do you take action? And there are some really interesting solutions. I'll show you one of them. Of course, then you start with something known as part of the circular economy. You produce cotton is of course produced naturally, and you produce it at a certain level. You use a lot of different things. You not just buy something, use it for a few years and throw it away. You use and return, and see whether that return material can be put into what is known either as an upcycling path or a recycling path. And then you go into this entire circular design thing. So where you're trying to see whether you can create fashion that is then sustainable. Nowadays, the trend is for something known as fast fashion, which actually it's, people are, the thinking is changing, their fashion trends are changing, your influencers on social media are telling you wear this today, wear that tomorrow, and what happens to the stuff that is left behind. So how can we address that through a sustainability lens? Yeah, this is an example. So this is a company called Mud Jeans. Mud Jeans is essentially making only recyclable clothes, in this case, jeans and cotton shirts, etc. And the way it works is you actually, if you look at the top here, you actually lease jeans. Yeah, so you can say that I'm going to rent it for a while. If I like it, I'll buy it. After I buy it, I will then use it in a responsible manner and then recycle it back to the company. The company will take care of upcycling the whole thing. So, and they've done well. It's a good business model, and this is an example where you can see one entrepreneur coming up with a simple idea that can actually contribute. If hundreds of people do that, then you create a culture. And if your influencers start saying, hey, use recycled material, yeah. So when you run a business of fashion, you might say that I want to do responsible advertising. So people can then use these products in a much more responsible way. So as you can see, even small things that you do, and you as students at this time looking to dream about running your own businesses, think about what can happen if we just put thought into how I can do things much more sustainably. Yeah. So what? So that brings us to the last part of it, is what exactly are we doing here? Why is sustainability and resilience so important? Yeah, it's important to have that lens. So this is the entrepreneurial process that you normally use. Yeah, one is you generate new ideas, which is what this SmartIDEAthon is about, and business opportunities. And then you develop a plan, you resource. It's not only about building your teams, but it's also about identifying where the money comes from, identifying where the materials come from, what are your raw ingredients, are they part of a renewable economy, or are they part of something that's going to cause further damage to the environment? So those are the simple things. You might say that you have two suppliers for a certain crop, even, but one of them is not practicing, proper sustainable agricultural practices. So you might say that I have a choice. I don't want to buy from this supplier. I'll buy from the other one. So those are the kinds of things that you have to build, that momentum, that movement that makes you different from others. And as you can see from examples, I'd invite you to actually Google sustainable businesses and see how well they're doing. Consumers around the world more and more are asking for sustainable practices in the businesses that they buy from, and they're saying that we will not buy anything that is not sustainable. The whole vegan movement, the whole vegetarian movement, a lot of and in fact the whole plant-based meat movement, where you're trying to look at alternatives, it's in its infancy, but it's developing, where you say that I really don't want to harm animals and the environmental footprint that comes with it. So I want to look for alternate sources. I like eating meat, but I also feel guilty about affecting the environment. So all those have to be factored in when you look at what your company that you launch or you work for. Forget about having your own company. Even the companies that you work for, what can you do? What can you not do? Yeah, right. So integrate sustainability and resilience and the circular economy type of thinking into the whole process. And you might think that it's difficult to do because I'm already struggling, I'm not getting money. But hey, there are investors who want to invest in these kinds of companies. There are individuals when they're trying to manage their finances say that we want to actually look at green companies and things like that. So there's a lot of support for you as you go along, and I can guarantee that if you have the right kind of sustainability and resilience filters, you will have a very successful business. That's what the trend is, simply put. Yeah. But it also requires something from you as individuals, each one of you, as an inventor, as an idea maker, as a potential business person, that you require the kind of resilience and the thinking that will allow you to act even when there's problem in the environment. So many changes, so much chaos. You see what has happened in kind of online delivery. To take the same example, the pandemic created this huge opportunity, and now it's almost become a habit. Yeah, we have, restaurants, shops are suffering because people don't go, but some of them are adapting and saying, okay, I'll also offer a remote buying opportunity. So all these things come about. All you need to do is not get into the rut, but think about what you can do separately. Yeah. So not only personal resilience, but the team you build when you launch your business is that, can my team also have that ability to be flexible and resilient so that we can not only respond, which is a reactive thing, but anticipate, predict, and then take action. Yeah. And whether it is slow change, whether it is sudden change, how do you respond when a huge wildfire happens? But you also think about, how can I respond when it has not happened, but I can prevent it from happening? That's a far more, it's the same thing in health, prevention being better than the cure in many cases. You practice that, and that's what we need to be able to understand and develop as an organization, as a team that builds ideas. And this is again not just directed to the students who are in the top 100. It's directed to all my Venture Development Center colleagues also. Think about this. Don't think about this as a lecture I'm giving you. Think about it, how can I actively encourage my teams and help them in developing this kind of behavior. Yeah, otherwise nothing will happen. It's not that somebody else will do it for you, or it's not that this person, this senior leader, given a lecture on this and everybody will start changing behavior. It doesn't happen like that. So you need to do it consistently, constantly, relentlessly, and in a way that people say, wow, this makes a big difference and makes me happy, makes me satisfied. It's a value system you're developing. It's not just an ability to do business in a certain, it's a value system. I am responsible. I care about the environment. I care about me. I care about my fellow citizens and our future generations. And I want to make that change. Yeah. So all this is important. You may not remember this. Don't, get into the theory part of it, but see what else can you do? What is my personal mission? How am I going to do business? Yeah. What is my choice? Do I want to buy foods that have pesticides in them, or do I want to buy organic produce that will make it, make people healthier, keep them healthy, and also won't affect the environment? Yes, today they are expensive, but tomorrow, if more and more people buy my product, I can bring the price down to a level that everybody can afford. So a lot of the time, you may have heard the statement made by governments, by the Food Agriculture Organization, the World Health Organization, feeding the world in a sustainable and healthy manner. People think, what's the big deal? You make food that is healthy. Yeah. But what goes into making a healthy food and still being able to produce enough of it to feed the world is a big challenge. Some of you have taken it up. It can be that you're trying to use drones to monitor the soil. you're trying to use biological fertilizers, you'll have a session with Shivam Sharma from Absolute Foods. That's a company that's been established essentially to run a sustainable agriculture. So they're looking at natural ways of fertilizing, not chemical ways. They're looking at alternatives to various plants, etc., etc. So these are the kinds of things that you need to start practicing. Include that in your personal, your purpose, your mission, values. What is my value? All of us say on honesty, integrity, trust, etc. You say that sustainability is a value that I practice. Makes a big change. Yeah. So, and then align that with everybody, so that you create a way of thinking where you're actually solving problems, always trying to solve a problem in a different way, because you know the impact that can happen. It's about getting people involved. It's about getting your workforce involved. It's about also making sure that they feel emotionally connected to. We always say that when you do business, don't bring emotions into the workplace. That's not professional. In fact, not bringing emotions is not professional. How can I utilize my emotions, which are linked to my values and my behaviors, and make a positive difference? So to think about that very, very carefully. It's got nothing to do with how brilliant you are, nothing to do with what kind of genius you are, or what a wonderful idea you have. It's about basic purpose of our existence, to actually leave things in a much better place than they were when we came in. What kind of positive difference can I make? Yeah. Again, you can read these later. It's about leadership, strategy, etc. Are you prepared to do that? That's one of the most important questions you need to ask. Are you prepared to take that risk? At this point, some of these things are risky. Are you prepared to do that? And if you are prepared to do that, can I make sure that I get people in my organization that have the culture and the behavior to actually have the courage to do that too also? Yeah, so you can just say, yes, I'm prepared to take risks. But if your workforce says, no, I need to do things a conventional way because I'm worried I'll lose my job. So think about all those things when you start forming your teams, when you bring together people who will then take the business forward. As idea generators, you are the leaders, but you also need a team at a later stage to bring those ideas to life. Whether you're working again for yourself as an entrepreneur, or whether you're working in a company where you're going to apply these skills. Yeah. So it goes back to you again, once again, your personal value. What am I? Who am I? Why should I make a difference? That's a basic question. Who cares? Everybody dumps garbage outside their house. Why should I only change my behavior? But everybody says that and nobody does it. But one person starts making the change, you get a movement happening. Yeah. So like I said, within all these values, you bring in your values of sustainability. You got ethics, your morals, your honor, your character, etc., etc. Yeah, all these positive values that you have. See how can you utilize them, exploit them, so that you make a change. Right? Just to exactly stress what I just said. So that's what you need to do. Coming down to the brass tacks, coming down to the practical stuff. If you want to, first of all, you need to be able to say that I want to do good for the community. And then you say that I'm going to build a sustainable business model. By all means, build a model. You have to build a business that makes money. If you are not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of others. So build a business that makes money, but build it in a way that you don't deplete the environment and change things around. So your impact is worse than what you exactly do. It should be worth it for you and for the planet to say that I'm doing this business which is very, very sustainable. So think about, keep this statement in your mind. I want to do good. I want to do well. Doing good is taking care of other people, the community and the environment. Doing well is where I want to make sure that I enjoy a comfortable life. Nobody is wanting to deny people a comfortable life. You need to start enjoying that. So first, start by taking care of yourself and then move on to taking care of the community.
Ever wondered how we get the same deodorant protection in a can half the size? Let's take a look inside. Unlike a regular can, our smaller cans need far less gas, up to half as much. Yet they still have room for the same amount of deodorant protection, the bit that keeps you fresh. With less gas, the spray feels a little lighter against your skin. but you still get the same amount of protection with every spray, meaning they work just as hard and last just as long as before. Compressed deodorant. Same protection in a smaller, smarter can.
Right. This is an example of how big Rexona type of deodorants. But you see the technology there. Deodorants have perfume in them and they're propelled by gas. That's why you get the spray that you can use. Now, a lot of gas is just a waste. So can you reduce that? So if you reduce, if you give the same amount of benefit in a can that is half the size, imagine the savings that you would have. First of all, in the raw material. Yeah. Secondly, imagine the savings in transport costs. Transport costs essentially become half across the world. And that is a huge savings, yes, for the company in terms of money, but also for the environment, the energy costs, because you need the amount of diesel that goes into the trucks that carry these cans. You need far fewer trucks. You need 30% less number of trucks to carry the same amount of benefit. Yeah, the thing about this is when you have a company which is responsible, they say that this is a proprietary technology from Unilever. They could always keep it to themselves, but they said no, this is important enough for the environment that they opened it up. They said we are freely allowing other companies, even our competitors, to use this technology to compress deodorant, because the profit in there is not from the technology. The profit in there for us is consumers accepting this, seeing that we make a difference, and that's what they will see in the marketplace. So business practices have to change. How we work with people, the definition of a competitor has to be modified. The competitor is not somebody who's selling the same kind of product that you sell. The competitor is also the world around you, where you need to make some changes. Yeah. So what is my final message to you? What am I wanting to tell you? Yeah. It's not sustainability is not something, oh, it's nice to have. Oh, by the way, I'm doing it in a sustainable manner. I've got this corporate social responsibility or sustainable responsibility group that takes care of it. No, it can't be one group sitting somewhere and doing a little bit. It's something that has to get into your business, get into your minds, even at the time when you think about an idea, because the ideas come at the very beginning. So if you say that I want to sell fabrics and I want to create an online store, as simple as that, you start thinking about how can I do it better so that it's different from what others do. So it's non-negotiable. The Earth's resources are under threat. Of course, all of us have gone through the pandemic and seen how becoming resilient is creating a different approach. Yeah, if people that don't respond die, people that don't evolve, they just go to ground. So we need to make sure what happens. You see, whether they're right or wrong is not the question I'm asking here. Look at online education. Online education has gotten a boost because of because people couldn't go into the pandemic. At GITAM itself, our admissions actually went up because we said that we are investing a lot in online classes. Now, whether those classes work or not work is not a question that we want to ask. What we want to ask is how do we make the online experience as good as the in-person experience? So all these kinds of things go into the thinking. So when you launch these, when you think about your ideas and think about the next step, I'll be really, really pleased if I see these things coming into your discussion. I know people will tell you today about how to develop a pitch, how to do ideation, how to do this, how to do that. My message to you is very simple. Incorporate these things and show it up front. So people are very, very impressed and say, okay, I'm trying to do something different here. Yeah. So new type of leaders, you are the new type of leader, driven by values, driven by a holistic approach to seeing what my little actions can do to the planet. Again, flexible, resilient, and of course, innovative. You create some innovative ideas. This can be very simple. There could be hundreds of opportunities in frugal innovation, what we call as jugaad, where you can make a big difference. So see what you can do and see how you can do it. Use this as a foundation for when you're trying to think about ideas and what else. Yeah. And think about partnerships. When I say unprecedented alignment, it's like, can I work even with companies I consider competitors? If a food delivery service, we have two big ones in India, if they work together on in certain common areas, imagine the kind of benefit that may have. If I can share, share profit, which is unheard of in these days, right? Your competitors don't want to share profit. You just want to make their lives miserable. But if you do that, can there be a bigger benefit for both of us? So think about it in those ways. Yeah. Think about these two traits: ability to take risk, ability to be persistent. You have to be flexible, but you have to also be persistent. You can't just say, I tried once and didn't work. End of story. Yeah. You want to do something. I would add two more traits. Is that think about who you can cooperate with. Who are these traditional competitors with whom I can work? I would never even think about working with, I'm making foods. Why should I work with a clothing company to create sustainable packaging? But is that possible? Maybe. Yeah, right. So then the last one is ability or the need, actually. It's not an ability anymore. It's a requirement. Take responsibility for your actions and how it affects communities, how it affects your actions, how they affect the community, how they affect the world, and then the planet. Yeah, we are all connected. There's not that you cannot escape that. Your actions are going to affect others. So how can you make sure that those actions are affecting others in a very positive manner, and ultimately the ground on which we live? Yeah. So what kind of leader are you going to become? I'm not going to give you any lecture on leadership, but I'm going to say, think about what kind of leader you wish to become. And finally, I hope you're all ready for it. I hope you're ready to take up this challenge. It's a huge challenge, but see what you can do in your own individual small way, so that the ripple is created and things become more and more and more and more in the direction that we want them to go. Because unless we at this level, as you enter or are exiting university, think about this. Nobody's going to think about for you're not going to have a senior citizen like me changing my habit to make a huge difference. I maybe do it in a small way, but you are energetic. You have the potential. You have the will to do it. Yeah, do it for them, the next generation, generations after that, because they are suffering. We have screwed up the world, my generation, and we have left the responsibility for correcting that to all of you. That's all I had. Mahesh, am I on time?
On time. Sir, if you can stop sharing, that would be great. And someone raised hands and had doubts. Is there time to ask doubts to?
Yeah, there we go.
Over to Vasu, and
Yes, sir.
please stay back for a couple of minutes. Sir.
I just want to thank Balkumar sir for an insightful session, starting from current crisis to the solutions and also the way forward. And it was very heartening to see many good solutions, from frugal innovations to healthy alternatives to food alternatives. So yeah, now it's open to questions. If any of participants have any questions, we'll take a couple of questions to Balkumar sir.
I'll answer one question. Yes, you can get the presentation. I think Develina, you have it with you, so you can share.
Someone raised hands in between. If the same participant can come back again, that would be great. I forgot the name. I'm sorry.
The equation is simple, guys. If you don't ask a question, you don't get an answer.
Thanks, Jivit Reddy. Jivit Reddy says, beautiful session.
Yes, Jivit Reddy said the tragedy of the commons. We fix that, we fix climate change. Yes, indeed, but do people recognize it as a tragedy? Somebody saying something?
You have a compliment as well. That was a beautiful session, Mr. Balkumar.
Thank you.
And what is your opinion on carbon credit?
I don't know. I don't know enough about that to give an informed opinion, but I think in the way it is practiced, it just seems to push the problem in a different direction, because there is not enough, in my opinion, kinds of credits that are offered. There's not enough due diligence done to ensure that they actually are positive. It's just that some bigger companies have the might to do that. And yeah, so it's not just for the carbon credits, but it's also where you're looking at sustainable practices, certification, etc. You have to be part of the right organizations, not just somebody coming and doing an audit and giving you a certificate for creating some documents, which is what is done in most certification audits. Having been part of those for a long time, I can tell you that. Seeing that.
We'll take a last question. I can see Dr. Shivam Sharma also here. So, sir, last question for you is Ananya Yadav said she has a handicraft niche business based on sustainability. How do I make it stand among other sustainable deep tech startups?
That's a fantastic question. Yeah, how do you make it stand? This is my opinion. You know, other people would have different opinions. I would say that don't compete with those deep tech startups. Create your own niche. You've got a handicraft business. There are a lot of people, for example, who make it a lot more personalized. Because you're small, you can personalize things. So where you connect it's a common thing that happens. You connect the artisan, the artists, to the consumer. The consumer feels a connect there, and when they do, they actually end up then wanting to buy more. So how can you develop that exclusive connectivity between the makers and the buyers, and have them part of the process? You know, people would laugh when like the World Wildlife Federation would send if you donate, and they would send you pictures of the tiger or the wolf or whatever you've adapted. But then that creates a connection. You know that your money is going somewhere. And deep tech or big startups can only big organizations can only make generalized kind of products. Yeah. So look at where you can sell that sustainability message in terms of people don't think handicrafts are really linked with sustainability. How can you make that message clear? That's kind of a generic thing, but I know if you have a specific idea that you wish to move forward, talk to one of us and we can give you. I know you will be you'll be coached through it to figure out how to make your business differentiated. But I would say that's what it is. Go small, but become exclusive. That will allow people to say that, hey, this is something I really love.
Thank you.
Shivam, welcome to the session.
Hi, Dr. Balkumar. How are you? I'm figuring out what's happened to my video. So I don't know.
Maybe the camera is closed.
Yes, I don't know. The camera is not closed, but there's some kind of issue. Let me rejoin, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That means we have time for another quick question. Sir, you have another question.
Our big loophole present in the textile waste management industry in the present time, according to you, sir?
Is huge, because there are no, first of all, there is no regulatory push. Secondly, there's not much of a desire to do something sustainable. We talk about fast fashion. Think about all of us. How many times do we just say that I will just accumulate clothes? Yeah. Do we really worry about where our clothes come from? Are they recycled? Are they sustainable? We just say, the price is right and the brand is right, I'll buy it. Yeah, so it is a big problem, and it is being addressed by several small startups, but it's not reached a scale of a movement that will actually change the whole world. Yeah, I would like to see fashion shows which actually create fashion based on sustainable practices. So it is a big problem. How can my pork industry startup differentiate itself and become a sustainability leader in the market? Well, there are lots of ways. Things like how are you actually managing your animal husbandry practices? How do you grow and grow and breed your animals, your pigs? How are they being fed? Reduce the use of antibiotics, reduce the use of hormones, etc. That all those things are causing problems. We have a situation where you will not believe this, that in chicken, for example, in the 50s and 60s, where people started manufacturing chicken products, etc., the average weight of a chicken was that they use for these purposes, but 5 to 7 kilos or something. Now they're fattened to such an extent just for meat that they're like around 150 kind of 100 or so. So can't be 100. Sorry, 25 to 30 kind of kilograms big, and this is all fat that is getting into the system. That fat, it's not really lean chicken. Same thing happens with meat, hormones and other growth factors and the antibiotics that they use. All gets into your system. So your health is damaged, the environment is damaged.
Thank you, sir. So,
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Shivam.
Maybe we can take some of these questions that people have and answer them offline later.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Balkumar sir. And over to us, Dev.
Yes, sir.
Shivam, if you don't mind, I'm going to sign off and resume my holiday. See you guys. All the best.
Sure, thanks.
So now we have another guest, an expert, Dr. Shivam Sharma, sir. He's Director Global Strategy and Partnerships at Absolute. He's agri-biotechnologist and alumni of Jerusalem University, Israel. So we welcome you, sir. Dr. Shivam Sharma is a Global Strategy and Partnerships at Absolute India and UAE counterpart. He has more than 14 years of experience in various domains from ICT in agriculture, product wireframing, testing and launching. He has worked on several projects from ideation to launch with various state governments like Digital Farmer Services Platform, Precision Farming and Protected Cultivation Dashboards, Farm Digitization, Geotagging and many more. Previously, he has also worked with CII Food and Agriculture Center for Excellence as Deputy Director and Ministry of Agriculture for India's largest agri-tech incubation network across 28 states coupled by funding cycles for agri-entrepreneurs. On education front, he is core agri-biotechnologist, as I told before, and proud alumnus of Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Israel. We welcome you once again, sir. Sir will be taking you to the journey of idea to prototype. So over to you, sir. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Vasudev. I believe my audio is pretty much clear to everyone. Mahesh, it's okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, and for the nice words of introduction. And good to meet each and everyone. Amazing. It's a good Sunday, and just a weather update from Delhi. It's a heavy pouring in Delhi, and due to climate change, you could see that from the last 20-30 years, का record टूट गया Delhi में because of the rainfall. So that's a weather update from Delhi. Everyone is located across India, and I'll take a session, very candid session, very funny session of ideation to prototype, and of course it's a story kind of a session, right? Let me share my screen, and okay, I hope my screen is visible to each and everyone.
Yes,
sir.
Amazing. So innovation has a demand. Demand needs supply, and ideation needs a support, a mentoring support, a financial support, a kind of a support which is required by the market. In my journey of entire couple of years, when we assess the innovation, we could see some kind of backstabbing done at the innovation prototyping level. Innovation is something which requires and which has to qualify 3-4 criteria. The first criteria is very important. It should be a scalable thought. It should be a scalable innovation. Second, it should be a robust. Third, it should be affordable. These are the 3 major criteria about an innovation. And that is how Startup India mission was launched in 2016 by Honorable Prime Minister. And we were honored to be part of that mission. I was taking care of agriculture vertical primarily because कहते हैं कि if we eat means we are in agriculture. And second statement by, of course, the first Prime Minister, that is Jawaharlal Nehru ji. He said that if agriculture goes wrong, nothing can go right. So I'll try to take up my ideation to prototype, and you might have listened these kind of sessions very frequently. Ki many professors come down and say many jargons and many thoughts. I'll keep it very simple, very candid, with the story of my friend, whom actually I've mentored a lot in my journey during my ministry days. Right? It's a very important to say that what is the origin of this particular word. It's a Latin verb. And what's the meaning of this Latin word? Just a renew. It's a renew. Means something is extinct, existence is there, but you need to understand the demand of the customers. You need to renew the things. You need to rethink on. It could be a design thinking side. It should be a technical thinking side. It could be a market thinking side. It's all about the product that we are trying to make. It should be a customer friendly product. Right? So innovation comes from a very Latin word, and that is how its meaning is to renew. I'll tell you a story of Abhay. My entire presentation, each and every step of ideation to prototype will work on a story of Abhay. And at last, I'll tell you who is Abhay and where he is right now. He's a very famous guy. Don't Google it as of now. Okay, so that is Abhay, and how he actually scaled the startup when he was very young chap of just 20 years old guy, and just came down to our incubator and say that ki, sir, there was a problem statement. I was figuring I'm a so much wildlife conservationist kind of people. I'm an animal lover people, and I have this idea to help farmer and to help animals. So I have an idea how I can develop a product, how we can develop a product for helping the forest conservation people, for helping the forest lovers, for helping the mountain climbing peoples, and who all are love with nature. Right. So it's the story of Abhay, which we'll be dealing with. But before getting into the story, it's very important to understand the two important phases of an innovation. The innovation is, of course, bifurcated into the two important phases. Once you just have an idea, you don't have any product in hand, it just needs a pre-seed kind of a support. We call it addition support. When you create a problem statement, because of interacting with the customers and understanding what's the problem that they are facing, conducted insight deep market research, do a lot of competition analysis, see whether I'm only the hero inside the game or there are multiple heroes around the game, and of course finding the supporters. Supporters वर्ड को ब्रैकेट में इसलिए रखा गया है, आई होप हिंदी एंड ऑल इज ओके विद एवरीवन. सपोर्टर्स को इसलिए रखा गया because they are the end customers, because this startup ecosystem, I'll tell you the number, 88,000 plus is a DP IIT registered startup as of now in India. 88,000 plus. And imagine, it's not about opening a startup, it's all about the sustainability of the innovation. Innovation can be always thought in two important terms. You can ideate an innovation, you can deploy your innovation, but you cannot ask the customer to pay for your innovation again and again. If he is not happy with your innovation, he'll be actually namaste karke, he'll exit from your innovation, right? So it's very important to understand where the problem statement is coming and what you are trying to do into the market, what you are trying to serve, and who are your paying customer. Entire startup journey, only two main enemies are there of an entrepreneur: time and money. आप अगर entire life cycle ढूंढ लीजिए, समय की सबसे ज्यादा कमी है, दूसरा पैसे की सबसे ज्यादा कमी है. We need to understand who gonna fund me. It's a government grant. It is just now a startup India mission was launched in 2016, right? What about before? Go Ibibo, Make My Trip. Also, these are all startups, right? But they have faced a lot of hurdles getting into the market and getting into market, understanding the gap and all those things, right? But now you go to the CA, file your documentation, get a DIN number, and open the startup and start working on innovation. Get a grant from the from any of the ministries and any of the institute, right? From DST, DBT, or anywhere. Now the things are there. Now the ecosystem is supporting. But what about the customers? The customers are the most important pillar of entire ecosystem of the innovation. And once you have a product in hand, then that is known as a seed stage innovation. When you have a product, a small product, which is a deployable innovation, then you work on 3D models, you work to show with customers, you work for proof of concept, how the model look like, and just taking assessment from the customers. And then you launch a prototype. And that is how a basic 2 stages, how the ideation to prototype work in the entire timeline, right? So very important, one of my very favorite line, you have to be very much disciplined with your innovation. If there is no discipline in innovation, you cannot scale. Scalability of innovation is directly proportional to your discipline. Discipline is directly proportional to your nature. Nature is directly proportional to your thought process. Thought process is directly proportional to your area of customers. End of the day, you are not opening a charitable NGO. You are opening a private limited company. You need fund inflowing, customer inflowing, and fund outflowing. And that is how you'll get a good revenue size. So there should be a discipline in your innovation. There should be a thought process, what has to be done and what not has to be done, right? So if I talk about the innovation value chain, it's a 3 important value chain, and later upon, of course, many different elements are there. In idea generation, what is this idea generation? It's all about talking to internal friends, families, colleagues, and many people. Cross-unit collaboration. You talk to friends. Brother, I have an idea. Should I take up this idea? This is something which is actually, I feel market is there. We can do this part or not. So you start working on a lot of developing, generating ideas, whether if really entrepreneur wants to become a millionaire, right? So he starts doing homework at the home level and with the friendship level. And slowly, he start working with outside the people and ask whether you will pay me for your innovation, whether my innovation will be successful innovation, whether my innovation will be funded or not. It's all about idea generation side when you talk to a lot of people, right? So Abhay, again, the story of Abhay. Abhay saw a lot of problem. He saw there's a human-wildlife conflict. And that is how he thought ki if a forest people can be protected within harmful animals which can come from forest to normal urban areas, how we can tackle those things? What if elephants comes in front of train? What if elephants, we want to get away from Kerala region of a village and there are a lot of herd of elephants are coming up, and you can see people are beating the cheetah and all these kind of leopard cats and all. So he saw the problem, that there's a problem. So a story of Abhay says that he first of all identified a problem statement, which I mentioned, known as idea generation. So he thought of, I'm an animal lover. Why would I allow, being me a BTech mechanical engineering guy, I want to cut this kind of a condition. I want to create a business from this problem statement, which is right now existed in market. Then again, what is the next part? Next part is you have to convert your idea. You have got your idea that human-animal conflict is a major important gap in the business across India. Can we work around this? Yes. Then you started working on a lot of putting ideas, strong screening, you lot of go to the funding people, and you started interacting with them and understand the capabilities. It's most important to understand your capabilities. Don't think you can do everything. Always try to have your team to work upon. You can be good on marketing side, but you cannot be done on ICT programming and Python side. It's very important. The conversion of an idea should be a successful prototype. Otherwise, it would be a failure. Then again, you will be working and reworking on the idea generation. Your idea generation can take around 2 to 3 months, but your idea conversion should at least take 6 months as per the customer demand. Because again, you will talk to your end customer, you will go for screening and understanding what are the gaps, because it's all about, and mostly I've seen that many entrepreneurs just Google about and see whether this gap is there in the market, and that is a very basic mistake that they do in their entire journey. You need not to Google, because Google can give you some answers which can mislead you. I always say that just go into the market. Just get in the market, talk to your customers, talk to your end customers, whom you feel like, and then build the capabilities on those and understand whether they will pay you for your innovation or not, and then convert your idea accordingly, right? And across this important generation, conversion, and diffusion, we need to create these 4 to 5 pillars of strategies, right? First of all is a strategy, the very important point of an innovation pipeline, right? How to create value for your customer, because customer won't pay you if there is no value. That's a bottom line of an innovation. Very, very clear. How you can link to a business strategy means it's a B2B business, it's a B2G business, it's a B2C customers, how you are tapping your market size, right? And again, getting onto the Abhay story, because he was working on human-wildlife conflict, how your innovations can focus and how you can allocate your funds. So Abhay, you can see on the white, this yellow name, Abhay. He is Abhay, standing with all the forest officers, and he has worked on some innovation, a stand kind of a device, which he feels that this is needed by district forest officials, because those people might be the person who can pay me. So he started working with a lot of forest officers. He started working with understanding with WWF people, the forest guards people, the mountain people who keeps on going to the mountain, and also with the farmers on one side, because farmers, the boundaries attached with the forest. So these kind of devices can repel the animal so that they can stay at their forest level. They don't come to the village level. So he started with a lot of screening activities, which I mentioned. This is part of his strategy. You have to screen your customers. You have to understand the business strategy. So Abhay here started, interacting with a lot of people, a lot of forest guard people, a lot of government people, and DFOs. We call it district forest officials, right? So that is how he started working. And he worked on a lot of innovation, and he visited a lot of forest across India to help. And you could look like it's just a stand, kind of a wooden stand. It's a very old picture, a stand, and he could put up some devices, and some devices will ripple somehow with sound and light combination. And here is that he visited a lot of forest. But what is a value proposition was there? Can this innovation be used for railways? Can this innovation be used for highways? It's all about the bottom line. Who all going to be your paying customers? Your innovation should be transferred cross-borderly, cross states, cross government, cross country then, right? So how railways can be? Of course, the railway lines in the forest, can we install such devices which can repel the animal? You can see how he has installed the devices. Can we use on highways? Can we help the farmers? Can farmers take a sleep peacefully at night? So this is how his device value proposition was made. That's a B2B model and B2C model, the farmers. After the value proposition, he started working on some of the prototypes and all. And that is how he made a very small prototype with a chhatri. You can see a chhatri, umbrella. And that is the umbrella, a simple umbrella with a long device on a trunk of a tree. And see what's there. He has used a simple devices with a siren sound, light sound, and a solar panel. And you can see what is the evolution of your startup. And this evolution of your innovation is very important part, because you cannot miss that. If you stop innovating, you stop growing. You keep innovating, you keep growing. Evolution is a very important part. Today, what example कि Apple 13, 14, 15 release नहीं होगा. ऐसा होगा Apple 16, 20, 30 तक जाएगा, right? Because वो उनको इवोल्यूशन करना है. अभी वो चेहरे से चल रहा है, कुछ दिन बाद वो पता नहीं किस तरीके से वो आपको पहचानेगा. So it's all about recognizing your innovation and evolution side, right? So it was the first prototype for Abhay, जिसकी हम स्टोरी की बात कर रहे हैं. And then slowly he worked upon solar panel, कि बिजली कैसे मिलेगी इसको, innovation को. So he worked on solar panel, he worked on some siren sounds and all those things. So that is how innovation was improved with time. And improve with time with whom? With working with district forest officials and people who would be the end customer, right? So innovation is very important to be evolutions with time. Evolution should happen with innovation, right? Now it has to be the approach. The strategy is made. You are done up with couple of product. You have done your prototype and all. A bit of preliminary stage and all. Understanding the customer side. What work needs to be done in your approach? What phases and activities should we follow? What methods and tool? Approach should be really smart. Nowadays, just on a website known as prezi.ai, just put a content. I need a presentation on design thinking. Within 30 seconds, it will give you 12-slide presentation on design thinking. That is how AI is. And now ChatGPT has really worked across. You can do anything, you can write anything, and it can answer depending upon the data what he has, right? So approach has to be customer oriented, approach has to be innovation oriented, and approach has to be a financial oriented. If your approach is working on a cheap innovation model, work on those models. If your innovation is working with your high paying customers, premium customers, work on those models. Again, keep interacting with customers so that your approach can be streamlined in a very good way, right? And that is how your phases or activities, and that is you should follow. Again, coming back to the story. Now, Abhay said that कि यार हमने product बना लिया. We have done some innovation. So first was our Abhay innovation, right? But the most important thing, don't think you are a hero in the market. There are many innovations are there. So always understand that you have to do one thing, the approach methodology, which is a competition landscaping. You need to understand who are there in the market. Then he gone through a lot of Google, and then understanding, and a lot of people in the overseas. He visited a lot of countries to understand whether these devices are working or not. And you could see he got a lot of landscape, whether these devices are there, kitna distance kar sakte hain, kya kar sakte hain, and all that. And then after assessing all these things togetherly and learning from the first prototype that he built, he was very happy. Okay, now I have completed my task. Hooray! Let's do some innovation. So he has developed a 3D model which is using IR sensors, which are using some multiple sound AIR sensors, and which is inbuilt with the SIM, so that a device, when animal is coming near to the device, farmer or end customer will get a message that there is an animal intrusion. There is a kind of an activity going at device number 22. And that is how Abhay worked on these innovations and model. And the important part, organization capabilities. He started building up the innovation when he has a 3D model. He started working on those model and innovation capabilities and leadership understanding side. And team building is very much important because you cannot do each and everything. It's all about the power of leveraging. So rightly said by Robert Kiyosaki. And I don't know any, I hope everyone knows Robert Kiyosaki. That's Google. He's a very famous guy. A lot of books is there, right? So he started working with all these kind of people. He visited people. He worked, team formation was there. And then a lot of forest visits to install these kind of innovation, which he feels that it is a really innovation helpful for the farmers. And this was done in a couple of other countries in APAC region, I believe Thailand or Vietnam areas. And he started working with cross-border innovation side because it has to reach. Now comes the next step, resources and competency. Who are the individuals to execute the work? Will you do everything? Can you have your people around you who can help you with the skill set? How their skill set can be helpful for us, and how you will get funding. So we supported Abhay with a few lakh rupees of just around 25 lakh rupees of funding to just build up your team, just take up the skill set and start building up numbers. So that is very important when you take up the resources. But most important thing is you have to identify who can invest upon. It's important that you have to understand investment of an investor is a very particular focus area is there. Every investor won't be interested to work on a wildlife conservation model or work on innovation which is actually working on animal human conflict model. You need to go for impact investment. You cannot go to kind of a model like Sequoia will fund you or something, because they are working on a model which are X today is X, then it will be 6X in just 1 year. So these innovations cannot scale at such a high speed, but these are impactful innovation. For impactful innovation, you need impact investors, and there are a lot of impact investors across India, right? So that is how he gets funded. And on the metric side, what are the targets, what are the guides, and what are the measures? So Abhay, what he has done till now, first prototype is ready. He has done testing and all those things. And he understands what is the behaviors, patterns, and all those things. So now the version is ready, the product is ready, and he has installed a lot of prototypes in the market and to get the customer insights and all, right? So it's important to understand customer as well as who can pay you for your innovation. And these are the good people, customers who actually have reached out and they have paid for their innovation in very early phases just to check whether the innovation can really be scalable, marketable, and Abhay can be benefited of that. So he worked with a lot of WWF foundations, some NGOs, retail distributors with NHAI, Cisco, WorldLife, and all these kind of people. But this is a failure of innovation. Sometimes some innovations are there, but it requires a lot of exercise. What happens if a truck damages this particular device? So what is action? What is a call action against that? Right? So he installed, you can see red arrows. He installed such kind of devices across the road, but these some devices, solar panel were sold around, stolen, and multiple failure was there. And that is how we have to rework on the innovation side, how we can work on it. And there comes a very important subject, which is known as design thinking. When I talk about bottom-up approach, always in innovation, we take about a bottom-up approach. In bottom-up approach, Abhay started looking about and reframing the structure. What is the case which I missed? There is something hidden which I'm not taking, what I'm not able to see. That is seeing the hidden. You are actually uncovering the entire real business challenge faced. Are you able to understand what end customers needs? Are you able to understand your customer feedback? Are you able to do a feedback-based innovation? See, a lot of reframing has been done. Then again, you have to know what is a real person behind your customer and how he will be using your innovation, your behavioral aspects of your innovation, your collaborative aspects. You need to learn to work in collaborative and multidisciplinary work, because again, your innovation could be used in Himachal Pradesh and also in south part of Kerala region, where we have a lot of animals and elephants are there. So he worked on a lot of animal characteristics. He also worked on a lot of light sound kind of a characteristics, flickering sounds, sound combinations, so that animal doesn't adapt to one sound. The sounds keeps on changing. The PIR sensor keeps on changing. And that is how he worked on various design principle to come up with the final model and marketable model, which is this product. This product has light sound combination of entire product, and this is installed at the farm level with a 360 degree, because solution, because if anyone across 164 participants understand the wildlife conflict and human, there's a lot of, we call it Nilgai. Nilgai is a huge kind of a cow model, and they actually disrupt the entire village, entire pura aapka crops and pura uproot kar deta hai and all that. And monkey, then dogs, ye device was able to repel around 15 to 20 animals. And that is how he worked upon this final marketable product. And it's very important to understand that what should be the aspect of that. So he started building the features. So it was a weatherproof. It can work across 24/7. It is a unique sound combination of light and sound. It's an IoT device, and it won't be habitual for animal. It will keep on changing. The combination of light and sound keeps on changing, and that is how animal cannot adopt that part, right? So that is again your business model and design thinking has to be done, so that one animal, if elephants hears the sound again and again, he would know that this is a normal sound. I can go around to the field and crush the crops and all, right? But again, different sound at different interval gives a dangerous effect to the wild animals, and this is not harming them, but this is just a repellent part of them. So that is how he's helping the wild animals and human conflict to just go away, right? And just to talk about his early few numbers, which was he was able to achieve, you could see very starting phases when working with customers. He invested a lot of things and he started driving forces in 4 devices to 12 devices, because early numbers and traction will showcase your growth. Your growth is directly proportional that you are really working on feedback-based innovation or not, whether you are understanding your customer or not. See, I always, when talk to the innovators, I say that key innovation has two word, push and pull. And market also has push and pull. If something is not required, you cannot push into the market. Always innovation has to be so quality innovation, so outstanding that it has a pull demand. Always you cannot push one time, twice or thrice. You can push your innovation to the market, but again, it won't get any traction with time. The traction will only happen when you work upon your design thinking as elements, when you work upon various versions of your device, not work on one device. One device will prove your team abilities and your ability to work upon the strengthening of the business model. But again, you need to work upon again and again new innovative device surrounding your current innovation, right? So that is how he has developed some few more innovation apart from animal repellent. So what was those innovation? The important model behind those, again, back-to-back innovation is iterative design. So depending upon the user feedback, testing, refining, iterating, a lot of functionalities and improvement, he worked on a lot of device. He started working with mountain peoples who go to the mountains, who go to a lot of people inside your forest for mounting. So he worked with kind of a device known as a smart stick forester, a device which is a combination of light, sound, your mobile forging. Imagine you are a person who is a shock and who was very much keen of mountain climbing. You take up this device which is costing only around 10,000 rupees. Just go, it will support you to climb. First, it is second, it has a lot of light, it has a battery source, you can charge your mobile phone, it is a combination of light, it has also a electricity part is there, it is sparging part is there, so that dangerous animal, if they come close to you, you can showcase to them. It will create a stringing effect on them and they will go away from you. So these type of combinations he worked on human and he worked on protecting the protectors of wildlife. That is a catch line that he made for his smart stick foresters. And again, with these kind of innovations across part, he got a lot of global. And this actually media supports will kick off, will helping with the sales, because you are here for sales, not for charity. And do you know what who is Abhay is? Anyone across want to know who Abhay is? He is the young founder of Carry.in, a nursery of innovation who work for researchers, farmers, wildlife, and forest conservationists. And again, why I mentioned about story? He's a person who was very sad because of the failure of the innovation, right? You could see his face. This was a picture taken inside a DFO vehicle in 2019 when a device was stolen by someone and part of a device that he's carrying. And you could see a gun with him, right? It's a DFO's gun, by the way, not his, right? So, and that is how a worried Abhay converted into a very successful entrepreneur, invested by a world of sharks in Shark Tank India. And now he worked upon, invested by Anupam, and of course, a founder of Lenskart. And that is the story of. So you see the journey, how he thought of, and now he looks a bit smart than the previous photo, right? So now a successful startup, confidence is from your face. You have to be very much confident with your innovation, right? Innovation sometimes cannot be scalable, but you need to rethink on only one aspect: your customers, your design thinking principles. You need not to do everything. Hire a good people in your team who are good on those things. I have interacted with a couple of founders who say, "मैं सब कुछ कर लूंगा, मैं एकदम एक्सपर्ट हूँ." ये जो मैं वाला फीलिंग है ना, that should never come in a startup. It should be the feeling of we should be able to do everything. It's all about the we, not the I. So that's a team power, and that is innovation. So he worked on a lot of models. He has a website, Carry.in. You can see the amazing part, and he's a fellow that who actually we have funded, because whenever someone invests on an innovation, it's all about the gamble. It's a gambling. I can invest upon innovation, sometime innovation fails. So it's a gamble, but the gamble goes right. So this is all about the success story of Abhay. Now he worked with a lot of NGOs, founding people and all those things, and a happy man in Noida. And see his website with a great part. Now this is the second last slide of an entire presentation. Very important part. And I'm just opened a chat window. Anyone can chat and say that and after listening the entire structure and lecture of ideation to prototype with the story of Abhay, can you tell me what is the reason for any of the startup failures? It is a percentage wise. Some points are high percentage, some points are low percentage. So anyone, I've opened the chat, so anyone can write upon what could be the reason for a failure of any of the startup, right? Those who can unmute yourself, that will be really good. Can say by unmuting. Okay. Vikas said that. I'm really happy to say that I'm getting responses which is very much aligned to the results of this particular slide, and that means my presentation is a successful presentation. I'm very happy because this is answer. Many people say that, sir, there is no marketing, we ignore the customer. It's all about a very important part. There is no market need. If there is no market team, your team player won't do anything. Prudhvi and Vasudev, wrong team composition will come. First of all, innovation has to be there. Then you will build up a team. So it's all about the market need of the innovation. And when you understand, and see, every particular reasons have some percentage, but it's most important, the highest percentage is given to the market need. And it's most important to understand, if you are not able to market your innovation. And marketing of innovation is slightly dependent to demand. You cannot push your innovation again and again, right? It has to be pulled by the market. So that is how I have tried to complete my presentation in a before time, in a very I'm successful. Why? Because my answers are aligned. My 70-80% answers are aligned of just no market need. So that's really good and very important part. I don't know who all will recognize him. Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% is perspiration. Perspiration is your sweat towards success of innovation. Anyone who recognizes him, of course, the name will come.
Andrew Carnegie.
This happens sometime. He's Thomas Edison. You can be 1% genius, brother, but it's all about 99%. The sweat that Abhay has gone through, entire journey, working with all the forest in the APAC region, traveling to Malaysia, traveling to Vietnam, traveling to hills of Uttarakhand, working with all the forest officers, understanding their problem statement, and again, back to back, working on one thing, which is feedback-based innovation. Don't think Google will tell you the business model. Sometimes I could see that many startups come up with a great Excel sheet projection side. Your projections doesn't matter. Your customers matters a lot. Ask your customers, will you pay me for your innovations? Ask your customers whether this innovation is really scalable or not. Will you accept my innovation at this price point? Pricing of an innovation is also very important. That's a totally a different topic when you understand. Right. So that is all about my thoughts around ideation to prototype, with a very small story of Abhay, who actually I've seen from ideation. He has just passed the MIT University. There's a university in Noida known as MIT University. He has passed from MIT University in 2018-19. He came down to us, sir, I have a problem statement. I want to work on that part. And now you can see the journey of Abhay, right? So over to Mahesh and Vasudev. I hope my concept and my thoughts would have given a kind of a learning to all the team which are there right now.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. From idea generation, creation to conversion, diffusion, the use of design thinking to mitigate the challenges in between, and also a user-centric approach to be successful towards creating a wonderful market demand or working towards market demand is well thought of, and such a wonderful story, sir. We really thank you for an amazing story. We actually walked the forest along with Abhay, so it was very, very insightful, sir. Thank you so much. So we have a couple of questions from the audience.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So I could easily connect because I'm from Kerala and we recently swayed away an elephant. It was a mission.
Oh, yes. So you can be the customer, right? So that is how my startup is also marketed in the entire group of 160 people.
Exactly. So you have a couple of questions in the Q&A and chat box. Can I read it for you, or are you able to see it?
Yeah, in the chat options, right?
Q&A. There is another Q&A.
Q&A part is there?
I can read out, sir.
My niche is sustainable clothing. My questions are as follows.
That is done. Maybe the last one and the one before.
Good morning, sir. My idea is product-based idea on poultry industry. Okay, live farming. Can you give me some suggestions about it? When you talk about the poultry industry, you see the model of IB Group. Just a bottom line. Who is that girl? Girl or boy? Deekshit Reddy. Just understand the business model of two big companies. IB Group, Chhattisgarh, Venkateshwara Hatcheries, Hyderabad. It's important to work with birds. Birds, matlab not chidiya, but the birds that we call it chicken, right? So small wala. Those chickens with the herbal. Have you understand the model of Egos? Egos is a startup which works upon herbal feeds the chicken, and they hatch those eggs and sell to the market in a premium price. And they claim that they give herbs, they give grasses, and they give important herbal things, eating things to your chickens, right? So that is how your poultry industry is. It's a very big industry, but again, sometimes some kind of disease pattern comes into the poultry industry, because of course this is very close to me. So agri, food, and biology side. So poultry industry sometimes deal with a kind of a disease model. Any kind of disease outbreak at your poultry farm can devastate your entire business. You have to think about this. Second, there should be a lot of aerations inside your poultry hatcheries chambers are there. There is an Australian company. I'll later upon send the YouTube link to Mahesh. You should see the entire model, how chicks are, from the egg breaks are there. And they scan each and every egg using AI/ML model. They scan each and every egg using AI/ML model, understand what's the condition and what is the health of chicks inside the egg. And upon egg, they will discard the entire egg, or they'll keep the egg for hatching, and then later upon conversion to a adult proper bird, and then it can be given to a slaughterhouse for a different business model, right? So it's a good idea, but again, idea needs a lot of thinking behind that. But you need to understand the failures of innovations, because you can be failed at one point, but those things has to be important. I hope this answers Reddy ji's question. Okay. A lot of questions coming around agriculture and fashion. Shushti Agarwal. Sir, is it possible our prototype, which is working to control the pollution, will be integrated in the industry when they are following the conventional process of years? See, if I talk about industry likewise, NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporations, Reliance, a lot of Adani and a lot of people, they have a electrostatic precipitator. इसको बोलते हैं ESP. ESP is a model which is there near to the chimney जहाँ पे हमारे effluent gas release होते हैं. They have a small setup. It's a very costly area, costly setup from the German company which installed. And this particular setup actually take up entire hazardous molecules from the smoke, and rest of the smoke goes to that particular height of 200 meters, right? So that is again what you want to control. It's a ppm facility, it's a nitron, it's a NOx kind of a variety. So what you want to control, that's a most important part. And again, you can work upon working with these kind of giants and placing your innovation for them. But you need to understand that these people would listen to you for a very long period, because innovations ke paas unke liye time nahi hai, because they are a well-established company. Your innovations will be so much strength, they will welcome you, right? So in that case, you need to understand what more could be given around those things. Understand? And as similar product are there in market, by the way. Okay. There is a question about Prudvi Narayana. Sir, I have a problem statement which is about precision herbicide application, which is not there in our locality in chili crop, which is growing a lot of aflatoxins, fungus causing cells. And so how do I throw away? Herbicide is a very old market. The first herbicide was 2,4-2,4-dichlorophenoxyacid acid. Herbicide, Precision Herbicide is a big company which is working in Israel. I'll recall the name. Herbicide. Actually, it's not possible for any of a particular organization to work on a precision, because if you see drones, for example, right? Drone work upon a complete aerial spray. It's a blanket spray model. But nowadays technologies have come, like multispectral cameras are there. Multispectral cameras works on NDVI principles. NDVI is National Normalized Differential Vegetation Index. So NDVI works upon for all the crops, depending upon the chlorophyll pigment. The chlorophyll pigment of each and crop is very different, because we work upon a lot of crop spectral signatures. It will say that this particular area of the field is divested by pest, or this area of the field is not working, or this area of the field is having a waterlogging conditions. So depending upon those things, we do a kind of an action spraying. So till now in India, I could see that everyone uses a drone of 10-liter payload. They go for entire blanket spraying. But precision spraying of herbicides, not done as of now, because that needs a model. That needs a model to actually differentiate a main crop from a herbicide crop, right? And that is a question from Achha, okay. So the first important part is you need to understand there's a main crop which is required by the farmer, and there's a one crop, the weed crop, which is not required. The weed crop and the main crop can be differentiated only by a camera mechanism, and those cameras are really costly things, because every crop has its own spectral signatures, and these weeds actually take up the nutrient of the main crop and they grow, and that affects the growth of the main crop. So how we can control these herbicides and weedicides? Precision things are not done, but in village go for uprooting done by local laborers. But as of now, no technology in India is there. But I can tell you an Israeli company, I mentioned about you this. So there's a company, again, it's a very good company. I'll tell you the name as I remember, right? We can go to the next question.
So we'll take one question and then we'll take questions offline. Sir, I'm working on a field of making clean energy equipment to reduce the deaths from indoor air pollution in rural areas caused by biomass burning stuff. Sir, any advice on this field?
Who is the question? Who is asking the question?
Anup asked this question, sir.
Acha, okay. I'm working on field of making clean energy equipment from indoor air pollution, rural areas. Again, Anup, see, it is a nice thought. Do you think that villagers who are working upon indoor air pollution can pay you for your innovation? Just a random. Have you spoken to those villagers who are using gas stove and then a lot of wooden to just make all the food? Have you spoken to them? They cannot pay you for your innovation. Anup, see, it's very important to understand the mindset of your paying customers. Whatever the cost is there, you may be charging 5,000 rupees. Even they cannot pay you 200 rupees, brother. How you will understand that you are working on an indoor air pollution? In my house, of course, in Delhi, we don't use air purifiers because there's a HEPA filter. What you will use? You will use HEPA filter, high efficiency particulate air filter, which is having a filter size of 0.2 micron, and it can clean the air. That is a basic principle. If anyone is a biotechnology background guy, he's using the laminar airflow is there, right? So it's a basic principle that you'll use HEPA filter, but HEPA filter has its own life. You cannot use it for lifelong. It has a replacement, and that is how जब दिल्ली में बहुत ज्यादा pollution होता है, the purchase of this kind of funny devices, funny, I could call it really funny devices, because a buyer cannot again and again replace your HEPA filter just to have. You won't open the door of your home or not. What about the particulate matter which is coming along with you, along with the window? So this is just a big jargon. If anyone wants to create those innovation so that air pollution, go for some planting trees. There are some good snake trees are there who purifies the air very slowly. But I am against these installations because that will create you into a trouble that you will be much more susceptible. अपने आप को घर में बांध के तो नहीं रख सकते, हमें बाहर जाना है. So we have to be very much strengthened to attacked by these kind of viruses. So again, we cannot work and live in ICU conditions under these kind of devices where you come on and clean air very regularly, remove your HEPA filters. This is not an ICU condition. We have to go outside, we have to work, we have to interact with family and friends, we have to go for shopping. So again, these type of innovations, there's a roadblock to understand the customer perspective, right? Do some kind of design thinking part and then we can look forward. Over to Vasudev.
Yes, sir. So in the interest of time, we'll take questions offline, sir. I've shared your LinkedIn connection link with them. I'm sure they will reach out to you offline. But would want to thank you once again for a very insightful, engaging session, sir. With your role from Absolute and also another portions you have taken, I'm sure you're contributing really well to the field of biotechnology and agriculture.
Vasudev, just before ending, I discussed about this particular herbicide. So this is the company I mentioned about. It's a greeneye.ag. These companies have, see the size of it innovation, right? It's a completely automated. In India, agriculture lands are very much small. We cannot deploy innovation. What about, see, precision application. You can see drop by drop is opening and closing of each and every. This cannot happen in India. The person who have asked me the question. So you have to take up the market standard. See, each and every camera fitted onto a sprayer boom. जो area आपको दिख रहा है, that is known as boom. The entire boom is fitted with a small cameras, and these cameras able to differentiate the main crop from the weed crop. And accordingly, आगे वर्ग में camera identify करता है, पीछे spring वो चलता है, sprayer चलता है, and sprayer keeps on opening and closing. Where the herbicide is there, where the herbicide has to be applied, just open and just close, so that it is known as spray less, grow more model, and that is Greeneye Technologies from Israel. Okay, thank you so much, Vasudev. It was a great session. Thank you, Mahesh, and it was a learning for me also. Such a nice group, and I hope my thoughts will able to reiterate the innovation thoughts and design thinking principles for all the participants who are going to go for SmartIDEAthon 2023.
Absolutely. We welcome once again to GITAM family and to be part of our mentors network. So we thank you once again, sir.
Thanks.
Goodbye, Vasudev. Thank you, Mahesh. Bye bye.
Bye, sir. So just a quick heads up, the next session is going to be very, very interesting, and we'll be sharing you a pitch deck format, and you'll have to send us a modified pitch deck by 15th of July. That means this Saturday. And just based on the pitch deck that you're going to share, we'll be selecting 32, our top 32 from the top 100, and they'll be presented into the semifinals on 24, 25 of the event day. So be ready for the next session. Before we go to the next session, we have a small fun activity organized by Abhay here. We have one more Abhay here from BDC. Hope you got enough inspiration from the Abhay story, the innovator story. So over to you to Abhay and Saishri from BDC. Yes, for a small fun activity.
Thank you, Vasudev. Hello, budding entrepreneurs. I'm Sahishri with my smart colleague Abhay. I'm pretty sure that you've gained some amazing insights so far from the sessions that we had. We are here to exercise your brains by organizing a short quiz for you and giving you a chance to win Amazon vouchers. Spoiler alert, it's only for the top 2 winners. I know that the vouchers have actually excited a lot of greedy people like Abhay, but as an organizer, I'll give you a few hints. The quiz has questions related to business movies, web series, unheard entrepreneurs, and CEOs. In order to understand how you can be a part of the quiz, please listen to the instructions shared by Abhay. Over to you, Abhay.
Hello guys, I'm today's star of the show, Abhay. So I'll share all the instructions for the quiz with you. So you can join this quiz using your mobile phones or laptops. I would recommend using mobile phones so that you can quickly share the QR code and log on to Quizzes. That is the platform for the quiz. Also, you can use your laptops. The link would be shared in the chat box. So what you can do is you can scan the QR code or else you can log on to joinmyquiz.com, and a dialog box will appear on your screen to put your name. Please put your correct name. Don't put your PUBG name or Call of Duty names, guys and girls. Please do not be creative same way the way you are on Instagram. So there will be 10 multiple choice questions, each with a single correct answer. You will have a maximum of 20 seconds for each question to answer. However, the fastest and the most accurate answers will be considered as winners. You will also be able to see the scoreboard in the Zoom window after answering the question and also at the end of the quiz. So I'll give you a minute to read all the instructions if you couldn't hear me properly. And
can I share the link in the chat, Abhay?
Yes. So I believe a lot of people have started logging in. I am getting all the prompts on my system. So let's go ahead. And here starts your 1 minute. Guys, come on, make it quick. There are vouchers.
You only have 30 seconds left.
$20 seconds to go.
The game code is 402660. In case you're missing the game code, 402660. It's on the screen.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And we'll be starting soon with the activity. Hope so my screen is visible. Can you see? We have 100 participants, 107, 8.
It's not shared.
You are still sharing the PPT.
Okay, just a moment. I'll reshare my screen.
Sure.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
So guys, we'll be beginning with the quiz. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So we have Saket on the top, followed by Samir. So the board is changing. Mary, Pooram, Mahesh, Rajkumar, members are also enjoying the competition, although you will not get the Amazon vouchers. Marine is on the top. Mahesh lost by a point. Okay. Rajkumar, third. Still Marine is on the top. Okay. Followed by Mahesh, Rajkumar, and oh, Rajkumar took away the lead from Mahesh. Great. Marine is on the top, followed by Rajkumar, Akshat. Let's see. Oh, the runner-up has changed to Harini. Rajkumar is the third runner-up. Okay. So close to 80 participants are done with the quiz. Come on guys, make it quick. Okay, 94, 95. I believe 100 participants are done with the quiz. Let's go
We
ahead.
touched 100 already.
Yes. And the ranks are not changing, guys. You are not answering the right questions. Come on. Let's bring all the top ones down. Oh. Bhargav has replaced the 6th rank. Okay, let's see. Bhargav, come on. Try to come a rank or two up. Oh, yeah. Now Bhargav is the 3rd ranker. Let's see. We have Sparsh. Oh, using his PUBG name. Oh, Sparsh now became 4th rank. That's good. We have 120 people already done with the quiz. Guys, the more you delay, the rank will not come up. Come on, make it quick. Let's increase the speed. Arun popped up. Okay, great Arun. Okay. Arun is popping up quite quickly. He is now on the 6th rank. Nobody is able to defeat Marine till now. ending the quiz in 10. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are ending the quiz, guys. So here we have our top 3 rankers.
Yeah, the first prize winner is Venkat Ashish. And don't worry,
Yes.
guys, we have noted down the details here. So Venkat Ashish in the first place, followed by Merin in the second place, and the Rust 5 in the third place. Looks like these people have given the PUBG names here. Anyways, never mind. We will get back to you shortly after the bootcamp. We will connect to you guys. Thank you so much for your active participation. It's a great job.
Tough competition between Marin and Venkatesh. Wonderful. Thanks, Abhay and Saishri. Now we have an interesting session by Yamini Krishna. Just a moment. Are you able to see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes, Vasu, yes.
Yes. So one of the last sessions, not the least, Yamini Krishna Rapiti is a senior venture coach from VDC. She has a strong experience in sustainability space in bioenergy, waste management, IoT verticals. And she'll be taking a session on winner pitch deck. So as I mentioned before, I want to remind you once again, based on this session, and you'll have to prepare a modified pitch deck and submit to us by 15th of July, this weekend, that means a Saturday. And based on that, we'll be selecting top 32 teams, and they'll be presenting in person in the campus on the SmartIDEAthon event day. So over to you, Yamini. Welcome once again.
Thanks a lot, Vasu. Am I audible, guys?
Yes.
Yes. And thanks, Abhay and Shahishri, for that wonderful activity. I hope the energy is boosted by most of our student participants. First of all, congratulations, guys, for making it this far. And this far, I mean, not just in SmartIDEAthon, but actually coming into the startup world at such a young age, right? And I hope you had a very eventful day today. I would like to reiterate that the bootcamp is conceived not just for SmartIDEAthon, but to actually equip you all for your startup journey, right? So while I do understand that the pitch deck is going to determine your selection to the next stage, we will not limit ourselves to just your selection in this event, but also for you all to make a killer pitch deck that can be useful for your entire startup journey. So let's begin. I'll share my screen. Guys, can you see my screen?
You need to put it in the presentation. Perfect.
Yes.
Done.
Yes. Perfect. All right. Okay. So let's start with the basics. What is a pitch deck? And I would like the participation of most of you people. Let's start with what is a pitch. Can anyone quickly give me an answer? What is a pitch? We usually hear this a lot in startup lingo. What is a pitch? Can I see some answers in the chat box? Wonderful. It's a sell. Can I see some more answers? Brief of your innovation, showcases, PPT that showcases us to the investors, okay, into the market. A quick walkthrough on how company rises or grows, okay, for raising funds. Represent or express your idea. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, most of you are there. So actually pitch is just a convincing speech for you to sell your idea. Yes, the first Jeevat, I guess, sell your idea in very simple words. So how many of you have heard of an elevator pitch? Have you heard of an elevator pitch? Yes, no? Okay. Let's suppose say now one of your parents has told your neighbor, uncle or auntie that you are doing a startup. That's all there is. And now let's say Mr. Khanbar has boarded the same elevator, right? On a nice day. And they'll ask, Beta, you've started a startup or something. What is it about? Now, let's say you're on the 10th floor and your elevator ride is like, let's say, just 1 to 2 minutes. In that 1 to 2 minutes, you have to pitch. That is, as you've just said, sell your idea, represent your idea in the most convincing way. You just have 1 to 2 minutes, right? So it actually is giving the core of your idea, not giving them any lingo. You're not giving them any extra features about your idea, nothing. You're just giving the core of your idea, right? Now, let's say you have this wonderful biotech idea, and that Mr. Khanna uncle or Mr. Iyer uncle is actually from the pharma department, and he wants to be your mentor, or even better, an investor. So what will be the next step for you? You would actually take your pitch deck, which is the elaborate narrative of your core idea, and try to make him a partner. So let's understand what a pitch deck is in a nutshell. Yes. Now, so a pitch deck is a concise and visually engaging presentation. It outlines the key aspects of your idea to attract different stakeholders. So again, what is it? It is actually a presentation. It is actually a narrative wherein you can tell your idea, represent your idea in a very compelling manner. And the content of it is going to be your core business or idea or startup idea, wherein it has a purpose, right? It is directed for a particular outcome. That is to bring partners, clients, investors, any of the stakeholders to be part of your idea. So the what is the core of your idea. The how is to actually make it visually engaging or make it so to the point to generate excitement to whoever so you're presenting. And for what you're doing, why are you doing this? To actually secure a reasonable partnership or to make them part of your idea so that you can go to the next level. So you have your what, how, and why. So this is very important for us before we start our pitch deck crafting process. So you need to understand why you're making that deck, but because every stakeholder has a different language, has different purpose. So when you are seeking a mentor, the content of it will be different. When you're going after an investor, the content will be different. So you need to understand to whom you're presenting and how you're presenting also. Yes. Now, is pitch deck only for fundraising? Is pitch deck only for investors? No. Actually, the role of pitch deck is very central to your entire startup journey. Initially, when you're in the ideation stage, it actually does wonders for you. It actually distills your idea. It makes your idea into its bare, its core, so that whenever you're trying to communicate with different stakeholders, you can remove all the unnecessary elements and actually focus on what yours is. And when you have like a large team also, right? The core idea, whenever you're trying to distill your idea, you all can be on the same page in this whole process of crafting a pitch deck. The next, validating. Usually we are in this, right? When we get an idea, we often wonder, is this good enough an idea? Or like, can my idea work? We try to seek a lot of validation, right? And pitch deck is like a big, powerful tool for you to do that. Validation, not from your investors or anything, but from market also, from your clients also, from different mentors, different industry experts. And again, more than scaling up, it actually helps you to actually strategically plan or also pivot. Let's say now that you have communicated with a lot of stakeholders to the market and all, and you got some very valuable feedback saying that this is feasible, this is not feasible. So when the pitch deck allows you to do that, now you can actually make, use it to pivot, to make a strategic pivot or for the next decisions. Now, before we craft the pitch deck or to understand how to make a winning pitch deck, we need to understand that it's basically a presentation, right? A PPT. And to make it visually engaging or to make an effective presentation, we need to follow some hygiene. Let's see what they are. So let's look at the screen now. Now you have like two pictures on it. So one has a lot of information and the other has a lot of graphics, arrows. So it's too cluttered with a lot of information. So how are we supposed to understand this? When we are trying to give compelling narrative and you're just cluttering these slides with a lot of information, first of all, it's not visually appealing and you're not really telling anything from this slide. You're actually just throwing information at their face, which is very troublesome. So now let's see some do's and don'ts. So you can see, right, from the previous slide, a lot of information is actually counterintuitive and counterproductive for the entire pitching session. So let's see. So you can see the don't on the left-hand side. So though bullet points are used and though you can, use bold phrases and all, when a text heavy slide actually doesn't do much justice to your narration. So if you're seeing on your right hand side, so be very scarce with your words, be very economical with the keywords. Try to show that this is the main point that you would want to highlight, and try to use visuals, try to use pictures, icons, graphics, right? Anything that can grab the attention of whoever is seeing it, and try to use a lot of try to use only few elements on your slide so that the focus directly goes onto the keywords and to the icons that support the keywords or any data points. So kind of declutter it and leave a lot of white space so that the slide is very engaging or it's very attractive. Now you can look at this. So we used just a couple of keywords and one main data point, right? And a lot of space and maybe a small visual kind of representation that actually shows that it's a pine tree one. So using bold and using the correct font or the central positioning, all of these matters. Yeah, and a very important thing. So these are not just particular slides, right? When you have particular very attractive slides that are not related to each other, they're not really giving them any narrative. You have to really sell a story. You need to start with why you're presenting them this idea, then the content of it, and how you're going to tell the story. So you have to grab the attention span of the audience, how much ever less it is, right? The peak attention from why to again, what you are expecting from that, right? And in the kind of language and the audio visuals that you're using. So the flow is really important. You have to make it as logical as possible so that from one slide to the other, you're making a lot of sense. Okay, again, summarizing. So every presentation has to be to the point, very engaging, attractive, and there should be a logical flow from one slide to the other. And most importantly, you need to understand for who you're presenting. So understanding the audience is of highest importance because you using a specific keyword, you using a specific lingo matters only if you know the audience. If you're presenting it to another business person who knows a lot of this jargon or another tech person or a layman. So that actually differentiates the kind of language you're using. Now let's get into the key elements of your pitch deck. So we'll be starting with the problem section, which is the most important section of your pitch deck. So this is your first slide, the cover slide. This slide that has the name and logo of your venture. So many of them take this to be just the name of your venture, and much importance is not usually given for the cover slide. But let me tell you guys, the cover slide is actually one of the most important slides of the entire, because you need to give them a one-liner, a vision statement as to what your company does. Let me tell you how. So we've actually taken the example of Airbnb. Airbnb was previously known as Air Bed and Breakfast. And this pitch deck that they used in 2009 actually gave them a 500K fundraise, right? This is one of the most popular pitch decks because it gave them, it is one of the earliest unicorns, and it is known for its precise nature and its effective presentation, right? So now let's look at this. Air, bed, and breakfast, book rooms with locals rather than hotels. It's actually telling in one sentence what your entire idea is. So it's actually making the audience comprehend the offering, right? The offering in within few seconds. So it's not actually using big words like travel industry, that Airbnb is revolutionizing travel industry with any numbers or anything. It's just telling what it's enabling to do in very simple words, right? That is the cover slide. Now, any questions on the cover slides? Let me take questions slide by slide. If you guys have any questions concerned with this slide, please let me know. Yes, Rajesh.
Hi, my name is Shritanaya Rajesh. I just
Yeah.
had a question regarding the a line which tells us about the product or the company. Like here in this case, it's like book rooms with locals rather than hotels. Can we not mention something which is related to the industry over there, or it should be directly related to the product?
So what you're offering as a startup, right? As a business, what you're offering, the industry actually doesn't make sense here. The industry can be great, but what are you doing in it? So the one-liner has to be actually what you're enabling someone to do or what you're providing in itself. Let's say you have like a physical product that is a smart machine or something. A smart machine that helps you sleep. As simple as that. So what you're offering should come out there. It should not be about that particular industry. Let's say this product of sleep, that lets you sleep better actually comes under health or something. I don't want to know about the health sector. Right now, what are you offering me in that one simple sentence? Makes a lot of sense. So what is this about? Why am I spending 5 minutes or 10 minutes with you? What is it that you offer has to come out here itself. Or else lot of times what happens is pitch decks become so elaborate. Most of the times the audience doesn't know what is their product, what are they trying to do. The industry is great, the secondary research is great, the problem is great, but what are you doing about it doesn't come out that effectively. So this is a brilliant opportunity, the first slide itself, where you can talk about what you're doing. Does that make sense?
So just had a doubt. Like, let's say my product is based something related to the agriculture sector. Okay, like we have come up with a unique type of fertilizer, completely organic. So the one-liner which we were keeping it before is something like bring the change in sustainable agriculture. So now should we change it, or is it good enough?
So there it is like, that is more like, yes, it's like a vision statement, right? But how are you doing it? So bringing change in sustainable agriculture can be through different means, right? Are you using it, as you said, yours is a fertilizer. That is not coming out. So try to be as straightforward as possible here. Yes, the impact that you'll be creating is that. But let's say if organic fertilizers, that, the immediate user benefit from it. Like, over here, they're saying that book rooms with locals rather than hotels. It's like, whatever trouble we might be having booking with hotels, you're kind of overcoming that. So that kind of immediate, user benefit has to come out. So organic fertilizers, it's your domain. So don't make it too broad saying sustainable agriculture. Sustainable agriculture means a lot, means it's very wide.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Let's go to the next question.
Can we take the questions at the end,
says,
and we'll continue with the presentation?
Sure.
You prefer like this?
Just this last one. Can we? Yeah, because slide by slide that gives them lot more clarity, right? So can we use a picture? Yes, definitely use a picture. But if you use that one sentence, right, that actually encapsulates what you're doing, let's move on. Yes. So problem. So you must have heard that problem space or defining your problem is very important for your startup. Let me tell you why. The problem actually is the opportunity that you're utilizing, right? It is the business opportunity, the gap in the market that's not being filled or is not being filled adequately or effectively. So you have to see the problem as your opportunity and actually give it as effectively as possible. So the problem slide is actually the, I would say, in fact, more than the cover slide, the problem space actually takes up the entire attention. Especially for investors, they would want to work with certain sectors or certain problem spaces, or they're passionate about certain problem spaces. So this one has to be really to the point and really effective. So you have to make them relate to it also. Let's say I am going with sustainable fashion or fashion, customization or something. If I'm not able to really relate with the problem, right, anything that you'll say next really doesn't impact me. So the problem has to be very much relatable. Vasu?
I just wanted one small point, if you don't mind. Usually we tend to miss to mention the problem instead we write a solution. So it's always good to brainstorm what is a problem we're trying to solve, even if you come up with a solution in the first place. That's all.
Yes, yes. So many a times innovators actually do this. We go solution centric, right? So we love a technology. We go with the solution first, and later on kind of justify that technology or solution, saying that it can solve all these problems. So that gives you that is just what is indirect justification of why you're doing this. If the problem doesn't come first, right? What has actually made you to come up with that innovation? That is not well founded then. So a passion for a certain technology really doesn't validate why you are doing that. So a problem-centric ones actually makes you flexible with the solution and makes much more business sense. Going ahead, how should your problem slide be? It can be a very big problem. It can be like, let's say, agriculture or something. It's such a wide and complex problem, right? But actually boiling it down to the exact thing that you're doing. Let's say now we are using fertilizers. So what happens with chemical fertilizers? Give me like real big problems. What happens? So do not tell me all problems that, agriculture nowadays has. Go down to the subset where you are focusing. So be very simple, be straightforward, and it has to be relatable. Any complex jargon, any industry lingo actually is counterproductive. Make it as simple as possible that once you use this, any layman will also be able to understand this. So back to our Airbnb example. So look at this, 3 simple sentences. In fact, they haven't even used an icon or anything. You are free to use icons or any visuals. But if these sentences are simple enough, you don't even have to use that. The 3 ones, my focus goes to the keywords in bold. The price, hotels, and no easy way exists. So the user experience is also being highlighted, right? They're saying that whatever, when you're going traveling by being associated with hotels, you're actually saying that you're being disconnected from the city and culture. And now price is very important for me. So these 3 simple sentences are actually making it very much relatable for me, any person who travels. So it's very obvious. Do we have any questions about this slide, the problem slide?
Hello, ma'am. My question is that over here in the problem slides, there is no mention of any numbers or anything. So let's say I have some specific numbers. Let's say we are working in the field of indoor air pollution. So should we mention that indoor air pollution kills around 1 million people every single year? Should we mention those numbers, or we should keep it just to the words?
So Anup, what happens here is, so the problem over here you're saying, right, you're validating whatever statement. Now let's say the problem here is indoor air pollution kills. That is the problem, right? Now you're actually saying that you're validating it. It's not an assumption. So what you're trying to tell about the problem should not come out as a statement from the research. So the actual problem is health or lot of morbidities that are happening. So loss of lives because of air pollution. That is the problem. You validating it is, yes, the next step. But be very clear. Now giving me a number or a data point from market research actually doesn't make it focused enough. You're giving me few things about air pollution, but the exact problem, right, that you will be solving, will you be actually preventing a loss of life? That kind of a thing. So air pollution's problems do not be very broad. The few things that you will be going ahead and solving, yes, write it down as a problem, and that will be validated later. You can actually put the source or the data points at the end of the slide, or in fact, go ahead and validate whatever you have just said in this main slide with facts and figures. Do not dilute it with a lot of information.
Yes, students, and yeah, it's great to see a lot of questions. But at the same time, let's take all the questions at the end. Keep dropping all the questions in the Q&A chat box. We have an army of experts to answer there. And at the end, there will be a 10 minutes Q&A again. So let's listen to the pitch first and then ask. Yamini, is that okay?
Yeah, Mahesh. Just like couple of questions so that it gets
but
so that
we may run out of time, but we'll take it there.
All right. Okay, fine then. Fine. Right. Moving ahead, guys. So we've done the cover slide and the problem, which is actually the opportunity. Now, for that problem, what are you solving? So make it as logical as possible. So whatever you have pointed out in your problem slide, that these are the exact problems, your solution has to have a direct, it has to be directly linked to that your solution is actually solving those sub problems that you have just mentioned. So again, be creative, use images or something, and try to come from the user perspective. Avoid telling what your product offers in its features or technical features. It should be directly related to the problem. So it is usually the user benefit. Yes. So it should be the core of your solution. So through your product, you are giving the solution. So understand, your product is different from your solution. The product or the service is just a means, and the solution is the end. Yes. Again, the Airbnb one. So understand. So there they have mentioned about the three, that is price. Now look at this. One liner about what exactly they're offering. It is a web platform at the end, right? Now through that web platform, now they're linking it with the problem slide. So price is important. Now they're saving money, right? Hotels leave you disconnected. Now the locals can make money. And from that, user experience, after that, sharing the culture also, because you are involving the locals. Next comes the opportunity, how you're going to utilize the opportunity. Now you are actually quantifying how big the opportunity is. This is one of the most troublesome slides that you guys might be having. Since we will be taking a lot of Q&A at the end, feel free to drop questions as you get during the slide. So the size of the opportunity is actually the market size, right? So you must have heard of TAM, SAM, and SOM, right? We will be going into in detail discussion about TAM, SAM, and SOM. But before that, try to understand that this is the size of the problem many people think, since you are actually now quantifying the size of the opportunity. Let me tell you, that is not the case. So let's say now you're coming up with a new drug in the industry and you have an opioid problem or something. The size of the opioid problem, if it can be $1 trillion problem in US or something, it doesn't mean that is the size of your market, right? So how much you're willing to pay for it kind of comes up or boils down as the size of the market. But what are the, how much the industry or the economy is paying for such a problem comes as the whole size of the problem. So do not try to equate the size of the problem with the size of the market. Market is usually how much you can make, right? Okay. Now, if you have heard about the bottom-up approach or the top-down approach, we'll be talking about that also. Yes. Now the TAM, SAM, and SOM. So let's understand what TAM is. TAM is actually the full market that you will be able to exploit, or it is actually the total demand, the full potential demand of your particular service or product within that problem space is, right? It is let's say you have used all your channels in the maximum possible way. The maximum possible revenue that one can capture, like if the entire market is captured, is the TAM. It actually gives you the entire picture of how much money can you possibly make. But that is like the maximum possible. Now, SAM is the serviceable available market. Now, we do know that to capture the entire market is realistically not possible. There are few constraints within the segment that you would want to work with. There are some business model constraints. There are some geographical constraints, right? It represents the portion of the market. So it's a subset of TAM that you can realistically reach or target with the kind of services, or products that you are giving. Now, again, the subset of this is the SOM. SOM is actually, now we are telling that I have only this much team. I have only this much marketing budget at this point of time. I have only, let's say, not just again going into the geographical constraints. Maybe this year or so, I will be able to launch it only within this city. Your wherewithal, right? That actually is your constraint. If you had like a much structured organization, if you had an unlimited marketing budget, or you had a continuous R&D, then you can actually go to the SAM. But now you have many more constraints that can realistically capture the market. So that is your SOM. So wherein you understand how many resources you have. Well, SAM is actually more concerned with your business model, like, still the abstract or theoretical business model or geographical constraints are the subset of the service within which you're trying to capture. So now, if you can understand, TAM is the maximum possible. It usually never reaches there. But you're saying that this problem or this solution has that much potential. You're trying to just give the investor or the client that this is the big number, or I have the propensity to generate revenue or grow at this scale. Now, SAM is now telling that, yes, available, what I will be again potentially be taking up within that whole space is this, right? Had I not had, if I had like better resources, like, still this is an idealistic. Now, SOM is the most realistic, wherein you're telling that only these are my resources and I will be starting maybe like, for next couple of years or something. This is the market realistically I would want to capture. All right. So now there are two different approaches for this, bottom-up approach and top-down. What happens with top-down? Let me first tell you. So top-down approaches usually starts with an industry report. Let's suppose, say now, let's take an agriculture problem. So the problem of agriculture is this, or within sustainable agriculture, you have several industry reports. So you understand the macro economy of agriculture and you give the big market number for whatever geography, for whole of India or the global opportunity for agriculture. Now you'll say that in that specific, in that sector, or in that fertilizer sector or in this pesticide sector that I just talked about from this industry report, you are now going into with the other constraints that you've taken, the niche within which you would want to take up the organic fertilizers or the organic pesticides. And now you'll go again to the SOM, the subset of it, and wherein you'll say that only realistically I'll be able to take 1%. Now, what's wrong with this top-down approach is, first of all, there is never a report that is so aligned with exactly the product or service that you are going to give, right? You will always have the big, broad industry reports, wherein that realistically doesn't capture what you're trying to do. So actually quoting such secondary research numbers actually is very unrealistic and unrelatable. And it is usually suitable for very large industries. When you are trying to carve out a specific niche by addressing a specific problem, usually top-down approach should not be taken up, because it actually gives you unrealistic numbers, and the investor would just laugh, that is not the number that you would be able to capture ever, is what is going to give, because it's not what you're trying to target. Let's say I have a very smart or intelligent welding machine, but I will never have a very specific industry report about that, right? Maybe I will be getting an industry report about power tools. Within power tools, how am I supposed to get the intelligent welding machine numbers? It is not possible, right? So for most startups, the bottom-up approach is advisable. Why? Let's understand. So what happens with the bottom-up approach is, you will understand that you will have you understand how many people are willing to take your service, right? Let's say organically inclined people. Or for me, let's say I have an anime-based product, anime lovers. Now I will understand how many anime lovers are there in India, or let's say AP or Telangana. Now I have a specific merchandise or a specific book or a specific service or a club membership. I understand that I will charge them annual fee of this much. So now what I'll do is, for my total number of anime lovers or something, I will multiply with the annual revenue or the annual subscription fee that I might be charging. That will give me the TAM. Now you're actually coming up with very specific data, right? How many people, the propensity of a person trying to take my service. I understood only that number from the market. But now I know my revenue number because I have given the cost. I know how much my service is worth. Now that gives me the TAM. And next I'll go to the SAM, wherein I'll say, no, the entire anime lovers will not be able to purchase my service. So next, I will be giving them some geographical constraints or some business model constraint. And now goes to the SOM. SOM is wherein I'll be starting with a particular city. And in that city, only these many, even if the anime lover base is this much in the city, a part of it only will be able to access my service and also pay for it. So now this is a more granular approach where you're coming from the market and your micro data, very specific service. And it's more accurate and it's also very realistic. If you were to make a comparative analysis, the bottom-up approach numbers are going to be extremely different and also way lower than the top-down, but they're going to be much more realistic. Yes. So this is what Airbnb has done. So it actually went to the trips booked rather than giving. Let's say now, had Airbnb taken a top-down approach, it would have gone to the travel industry, right? No, it did not do that. What it did was it went to the trips booked worldwide and said that had these trips been booked with Airbnb, this would be the maximum potential. And now within the entire trips booked, it went to the budget and online because it's a web platform. So it has to look at the online trips and within budget trips that were booked, right? So that has narrowed it down. So this comes as the bottom-up approach when I'm actually looking at the trips. And what it has done is it did not actually give a dollar value because it knows how much does it cost per trip booking. It is, let's say, $10 or a small commission of that. So now I will be able to understand clearly that this is a $2 billion problem, or how many, like, or for the SOM itself, 84 million into something. So I will be able to give it a number also but this is very granular and this is more realistic. So going now to our product section, now that we have understood what the opportunity is, what your solution is, how are you going to give that solution? So this is the product. Is it a web platform? Is it a physical product? Is it an AI model? Anything. So how are you going to give that solution is your product. So hope you understand the difference between your product and your solution. So now you can actually talk about the features of it, and you can do not really include all the fancy features, but the core features that are actually aligned to your user benefit. It's very it's advisable, in fact, that you give a very short video of the functioning of your product so that you can actually prove that this idea can work in reality. Screenshots for any software service are also appreciated. So what did Airbnb do? It actually showed the user flow. So all you have to do is go on to the website and search for whatever particular place or a city that you're traveling, and try to understand who all are available with the locals with their listings, and book the listing. That's it. The 3 simple steps. So usually the user flow, what you're supposed to do with the product or the service, actually cuts down the entire process, right? So you have to tell them the brief steps that they have to follow for them to get the user benefit. Yeah. Now comes the competitor section. So now you've given the product and service also, but you haven't actually spoken about who else is doing this and why should you be doing this. So now you have to actually position yourself well enough to say that I have identified a good enough opportunity, that is the problem, and it is a sizable market, and I have come up with this solution. But what exactly is happening now, right now, to solve that problem, right? So now you will be talking about your competitors. So usually students or startup founders make this mistake by saying that my product is so unique that I do not have any competitors. That is never the case. If the problem exists, they must be coming up with some jugaad solution, some non-monetary solutions also. So if you're coming with the product, you are actually competing with those kind of solutions also. So why should you be coming up with, or why should people be paying for this? Whatever had worked earlier, wouldn't it work any better? Will be the main question. So go all in with your indirect competitors. Yes. So we'll have usually two kinds of representations. The one you're seeing on the right, that is the graphical representation, is more qualitative as to when you have two attributes like the price or the user experience or performance, you would be able to put it at the right point wherein you are seeing that, yes, it's mediumly priced and the user experience is way greater. And you can actually show where the competitors also fit in this landscape. Now you have a lot of features that you would want to compare that you are giving more than the competitors. Then the tabular representation is great. Most of the times, or like we see both the representations to be used, right? Whenever you're offering a lot of features, you can use the tabular representation as well. Yes. Now what Airbnb has used is actually it has taken two attributes, that is the affordability, that is the price, and the user experience, which is the online transaction. It has gone all in, though you can see that Craigslist or like, the couch surfing were just databases. They weren't really giving you the actual features to book something or anything. But still, they have considered such indirect competitors also by saying that they go more onto the offline transaction because you have to call up or, you have to book on your own, right? While their affordability is great. So the indirect competitors were also there. So you have to showcase that you are sufficiently differentiated that you can carve out your own niche, that you have a space wherein you can grow, where you can thrive, right? And it is not one more brand in the market where it is like aggressive competition and you need aggressive marketing and aggressive budgets. Then it doesn't really make it a startup, but it actually makes you another new business in the market. So this is where you can actually say that, hey, my solution is unique enough wherein I can carve out the entire market for myself. Now, yes, so we have tried to say that we are uniquely or we are differentiated enough. You can now talk more in qualitative terms. You can use a bit of the terms, technical terms also as to why you're differentiated. You can actually give your competitive advantages here, wherein you compared yourself earlier. Now you can actually tell what are your competitive advantages. Is it some new emerging tech that you're using? Is it a business innovation that you will be using? Those kind of things a bit more in detail. Yes. So what are the competitive advantages of Airbnb? They're actually saying they're the first to the market about this, right? And that they'll be actually giving now people who are not really part of this travel market, they're giving them an opportunity to make money, right? So in the use of use, they went all in and they put 6 of their competitive advantages. You can usually 2 to 3 competitive advantages is also great. So you should actually position yourself as to why you're going to sustain in this market. What is it about you that is going to put you in the market for at least the next decade or whatever time you would want to make a lot of revenue? Yes. So I will be telling you what are the compulsory slides for the purpose of resubmission. We do understand that most of our student startup ideas are at the early ideation stages. So these slides will not be relevant, but we will understand how a standard pitch deck looks and later on look at the compulsory slides for you guys. So the next in line is the business model. So how do you actually make revenue? The problem is good, the solution is good. You have actually figured out what is the product and service. Now, how does the product or service actually make money? Is it by sales? Is it by subscription? What is it? Is what you're going to talk about in your business model slide. So the Airbnb example again. So it's very simple, 10% commission on each booking or each transaction. So the business model should be so clear that the investor or whoever is actually looking at can actually mentally calculate that this was the market size, this bigger problem. Now he's actually saying 10% commission. So I can actually project a value in my mind itself, a rough estimation. So even if you have multiple revenue streams, try to focus on the primary revenue stream for your startup. Do not try to overcomplicate it by saying that I will be getting from subscriptions, I will be getting it from partnerships. No. What is your major revenue stream? Or what is your main core business model? That is going to give you most of your revenue. Yes. Traction is for those businesses that have already proved their idea by making some money. So this is actually more market validation, that people not just like our idea, but are also willing to pay the idea. So most of your narrative is about telling that your idea is great, it works, and it has been accepted also, so that you are bringing more and more people on board. Different milestones are now the more qualitative validation points, wherein you get customer testimonials, maybe a feedback from an industry expert who actually says that this technology or this idea or this problem is this relevant. Yes. So Airbnb have actually used their press appraisal, like the press comments that they got, appreciating what a good solution this was, and user testimonials. User testimonials are way more valuable than anything else. It actually says that people are facing this problem. Yes, you're validating the problem and you're actually validating the solution as well as the service, and saying that they saw value in the money that they spent on your product. Yes. Go-to-market section, again, for startups who are about to launch. They have to actually tell that I have this beautiful product, but if you do not have a plan as to how to bring them to the customers, right? Even if it's a wonderful problem, if it's a wonderful solution, but you do not have a plan to actually make the customers access your product or service, then all of this will be a futile thing. So you have to tell that you have a very solid strategy as to how to reach the customers you've been targeting all this time. So what is it that you're going to do? So the adoption strategy for Airbnb has been through partnerships and events, but the most important one has been Craigslist, where they would have listed, right, online. And so this actually shows the effortlessness in which one, or the brilliance in which startup actually tries to tell that without a huge marketing team, without a huge marketing budget also, I will be able to acquire my customers, right? Which makes more sense because startups have very limited resources. So brilliance in this go-to-market strategy goes a long way. Yes. And a very, very important slide is the team. Who is doing this? So we understood the problem is identified very brilliantly. The solution, the innovation is great. And now the product is great. But is your team equipped enough? Or is your team having what it takes for this big market to be seized, right? Because you might be competing with very big businesses. Do you have the wherewithal with you? Do you have that passionate team that can work to get this into the market and actually make money? So usually team slides have the three co-founders and all. It is a nice combination of the hustler, the hipster, and the hacker. Usually the hacker is like the CTO, the back-end technical guy. The hustler is the one who goes around and sells or acquires new clients and investors. The hipster is actually the one doing the PR, increasing the brand value. So you can have a good combination of your team. I do understand students at over here, you will not be having tens and decades of experience in whatever, but try to portray your strength in a way that complements or that makes the team a complete set, right? That you complement each other's strong positions, and it makes a complete set that you can actually bring this idea into market. That will be a very good strategy. So this is how Airbnb actually portrayed itself through its previous initiatives, through its previous ideas. Wonderful. So in a nutshell, again, the pitch deck is all about selling. You have to tell that you have a brilliant idea, and not just that it's a brilliant idea, but it's an idea that can work, an idea that can make a lot of money, and you have a solid plan how to make that money. So now the mandatory sections for our resubmission, let's look at it. The compulsory slides will be your cover slide, the problem slide, the solution, the market, the product, the competitor, and the unique value proposition. So from the business models slides, the business model, go-to-market, traction, milestones are nice to have slides. You guys, if you have a business model, great, go ahead, add it into your pitch deck. But if that is not there, do not worry. These will be the compulsory slides on the basis of which your pitch deck will be assessed. You can take a screenshot. Go ahead, feel free to take a screenshot and make sure that you have all the slides for your compulsory resubmission. I'll just hold on for a minute. Right. Let's go ahead.
Yes, we're done.
Yes, let me stop sharing. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Shamini, for that elaborative and very informative session on gripping pitch deck. I'm sure it's a good takeaway for all our participants, top 100 participants. And as I mentioned before, as I keep mentioning before, by 15th of July, that means by this Saturday, based on the inputs that we are giving now and your own experience, you'll have to share a modified pitch deck by 15th of July. And based on that, we will be announcing results about top 32 participants' ideas. And they'll be coming in person to SmartIDEAthon event and present your ideas and as part of the event. So we'll be announcing on 21st of July, within a week from 15th. And yeah. And we'll announce, we'll be sharing details of advanced bootcamp over the mail. So you'll receive a mail regarding the pitch deck format. Anything else, Mahesh?
Just
share something.
We will take a couple of questions quickly if they have. Let it be regarding the pitch deck or competition or any questions in mind.
Sure. We've answered most of the questions in the chat.
We are answering, yes. Great work, team. We are answering that in the chat box. If somebody,
thanks a lot, team.
Yeah. You can raise your hands. We'll unmute you. You can talk if something is not covered in the chat.
We've also shared a couple of our VDC staff members' LinkedIn IDs. If you wish to connect, you can connect over there too.
Guys, I've also shared a few YouTube channels ka link. So if you want, you can take references from them. They'll provide you a very comprehensive guide. First channel is SlideBeam, and they provide a very comprehensive pitch deck breakdown for a lot of startups. They have some good videos on financial modeling as well. And I have attached the second link for Y Combinator videos. So I've attached only one video. Don't get into Y Combinator videos as they're quite technical.
Thanks, Abhay. And students, any question? Any particular question, doubts? Yes, Mahesh. Yeah, you can unmute and talk.
Sir, like we are working on an agri-tech startup where we are going to provide a robot as a service to farmers. So here, when it comes to TAM, SAM, and TOM, we are clear about our TAM and SAM. But when it comes to addressing the SOM, we are projecting 100 acres of land. But our TAM, SAM, and SOM are projected in the way of land right now. Is it mandatory to be projected in number of farmers? Because we cannot come up with what kind of farmers we are projecting. Either we are targeting large-scale farmers or small-scale farmers, because it varies from village to village. When it comes to farming perspective, farmers cultivate in a way like majority 3 to 4 acres. Each individual farmer, but we cannot come up with the right metrics, right? So that's the reason we kept it in landscape. Is it okay to keep it in landscape, like we have projected in 100 acres and this many acres and this many acres in tasks?
That shows your impact. That shows how wide your solution is going to be impacted, right? It's okay to show, but not under SAM, SOM, or TAM. I've seen Justin, I guess, responded.
Yes.
Responded for that in the chat box. So it's okay to show that, but not under those 3 headings. Yeah, it shows your impact of yours.
It's mandatory to show in potential customers itself, or is it okay to show in landscape?
It's okay to show in the landscape. Yeah.
Okay. And also, I have one more doubt. When it comes to business model canvas, should we scoping
at the initial stage, according we are at the initial stage of ideation right now.
You don't have to work on if it as far as the competition is concerned. You don't have to work on that.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Team BDC team, there are questions coming in the chat box and Q&A. I hope we can answer that here before we leave the session. Do we need to record a video or send submission? They will answer that. Thank you. Sample pitch deck will be shared to all the teams and participants by tomorrow, I believe. Devilna? Yes. Yes, it will be shared. So please consider that sample pitch deck and the headings. You will only find headings like Yamini shared at the end of her presentation. Please use your logic and sense to fill in accordingly. You are free. It's your idea. It's your startup. You are free to represent the way we want. These are our guidelines only for the competition. Because are we sharing the recording for Devilna?
Yes. We'll be sharing the recording of this session after an edit, and also the decks will be shared.
Yeah. Thank you. If we have any doubt regarding, wait a second. If we are regarding, how can we reach you guys regarding the pitch deck? So you can respond to the email which you are through which you receive our sample pitch deck. That should be fine.
You can reach us at smartideathon@gitam.edu. So that's the best place. We keep on checking that ID.
Exactly. Thank you. Any other questions, guys? Maximum slides. So Justin is 10. 10.
Debrina, Justin is trying to speak. Can you unmute him? He wants to share a couple of points.
Raise your hands. Please raise hands over.
I think it's unmuted, Vasu. So Mahesh Vupu, you had a question, right? Is that answered to your satisfaction, Mahesh Vupu?
Yes, we answered. He was the first one.
Okay.
So yes, we are getting this question repeatedly. All the students and participants, please note that we will send you a sample pitch deck, not a pitch deck, a format, a template, based on which we will be evaluating you. In that template, you will find few headings. Okay. And it's up to you how cleverly you include you communicate your startup idea or the idea within that template. So please use that template wisely. Can we get an individual evaluation review of like highlighting the areas where we need to improve? Very nice question. We would love to do that, but
very difficult.
Very difficult. Giving a review to 1,000 applications would be very, very difficult. That's the purpose of the bootcamp, is that, right? So we understood this crowd here has done excellently well. So we would love to give you how to go forward and what are the improvement points. So I'm sure through this bootcamp you would have received that. Okay, what are we expecting, or how a slide pitch deck should look like, or how to build a prototype. So this is your feedback. You can take it.
Guys, I have I am also sharing one of my presentations which I presented when I was in my bachelor's for my startup idea in a business plan competition. Hope so it provides you with some reference.
Thanks, Abhay. Sure. So if you Google pitch deck template or the one which Abhay is sharing, there will be a lot of data which is common. But as far as the competition is concerned, the template which you will get tomorrow are the points which we would love to evaluate. So when you are pitching to a VC, when you are pitching, like Yamini said, to investors or different other competition, there could be a difference. So please understand that and act. Any other questions, students? Please raise your hands if you want to unmute and talk. Or how can we submit an MVP if we have? Submit an MVP. What do you mean by submitting an MVP? Pramit, until I didn't get that.
You can include the details of MVP.
No, I know what is minimum viable product. I'm just asking, how do you submit means what? If it is a product which you have made, how will you submit a product?
Video of the prototype or MVP, whatever it is, the demo.
Video, picture,
demonstration, yes.
Yeah.
I think in the pitch deck
link will be fine.
Yeah,
you can add the link
under the
to
product.
Yeah, someone unmuted. Arpit, but team, did we miss any questions? Are there questions in the Q&A? So there is a message. Should we use that template only for our pitch deck, or can use our own template? Very good question. So the template which you will receive tomorrow, it's just about it's just about the content which we are looking at, the color, the way it should look like, the data. It's up to you. So you can edit the way you want. You don't even have to follow the same heading, but it's all about what we are looking at. So it's up to you how you present it, but it would be great if you have all those content which we have asked for. So you don't have to essentially follow the color, the pattern. It's up to you. Isn't that correct? Because we are just looking at, and Justin, we are just looking at the content, right? The way they present, it's up to them.
Yes, I think the template is just for the guidance. Right. But as I think Yamini has covered in her session, there are certain pointers which are mandatory, and some are desirable, right? Like some of you might not be at a traction stage at this point of time, so that's not mandatory. Financial projections, if you include, well and good. If you don't include, it's not going to be a deal breaker. But the other pointers you can keep in mind, right? Like the problem, solution, USP, competition, market sizing. So these are the mandatory points.
Thank you, Justin. Ishita Kapoor, you can unmute.
Yeah, I just wanted to know one thing, that what major points we need to include in the video, considering we have to keep it, crisp. So yeah.
Ishita, I will say, because you want to go on?
Go ahead.
No, I will say consider it like a 1-minute elevator pitch, which you have got to impress the judges or jury or the evaluator, rather than putting a 10-minute video, because you are anyway communicating the other parameters through the template which we are presenting. And if you have a product demo would be much better. Because do you want to add something?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So this video would be an add-on to help us understand your idea, product or service better. So apart from whatever you're covering in the main deck, if you can give us a demo or if you can explain it in a better way, that would be helpful for us.
I'm unmuting Pramit Mandal. Pramit, please go on.
Yes, sir. Actually, instead of submitting any video, can I just send you a link along with the PPT, and will it be visited by you guys for the evaluation? Link of for the tech or the website I'm building.
So Pramit, would be giving you a Google form. So based on that, whatever is the field which we are selecting, you can act accordingly, and you can definitely keep link of your whatever prototype inside the deck. So we'll definitely be visiting that when we are evaluating.
But make sure the access is given to people who are sharing, not to complicate the security thing. That's all.
Because I have another question in my chat box. We actually made business model slide in our first pitch deck. Can we just add few points for that slide?
They can improvise on whatever feedback they have got or whatever insights they have got from the current bootcamp, and they can add it in the business model place while they are submitting the second.
Anonymous participant, can we just provide a YouTube video of what our services would be? So we hope just provide your video is and like he said, an extra thing, an added thing to communicate your product or service, but make sure that you have other points covered in the template. So, and I hope the YouTube video is your product and service, not just in other product. And all right. Any other questions, guys? If you want to, what about the intellectual rights? What do you mean by that? Do you want to ask us whether we take ownership of the idea, or Sritanya Rajesh? I'm unmuting. Go on, Sritanya.
Yes, sir. So I mean to say that, is there any non-disclosure agreement provided, some sort of such agreements, right?
So a good question. So one thing is we are doing this entire competition, keeping the guidelines of Startup India into consideration. So we have an NDA with Startup India. So all your ideas are not going to be shared with anybody else apart from the evaluation team. So,
okay, got it.
Yeah, you can be attention free. Nothing is going to happen with your idea.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm sure this question will be in everybody's mind. Thank you.
Yes. So can we take other questions offline, maybe through the mail from the help support from the SmartIDEAthon 2023 page?
Sure. So there are
last question. Sorry, I have hardware app and website.
Yamini, can you please share that mandatory slide once again so that it's clear for everybody once again?
Sure.
So we'll display now on the screen the
So there
template.
is a question saying, will team submitting video of product or service will be given favor or upper hand in evaluation for upcoming rounds? So I think based on what is the problem, how innovative is the solution, I think that then if you are able to understand it better using a video, probably yes. If the video is not able to communicate anything, then no. So it's something which we cannot say.
Yamini?
Yeah, I'm just I put it in the chat box, the list of it.
No,
Is
if you
that
can
all right?
share that screen.
Okay. Okay.
That mandatory.
Yes.
All right. So the same would be shared. The template would be shared tomorrow. Like I said, it's up to you how you want to design it, the color, the look, the feel of it, the content of it. We would love you to cover all these topics. Consider all these as topics, and we would love you to like you to cover all these topics because the next round would be mostly evaluated based on this. So if you have these topics covered, great. And having a video in one of these topics would help us to understand better, like an extra pointer, so that this is how your product or service works like. And you don't have to repeat the same content like in a video. You are explaining it again. But if it helps us to understand your product or service, that would be great. That's it. So Vikas or Justin, do you want to cover anything else on this?
I think Devansh has asked this question a couple of times. So Devansh, obviously, in a minute or so, you will not be unfortunately able to explain everything, right? So assume, if you are pitching in front of an investor for $1 million, what is it that you would want them to know so that you can, get that person interested in you and they can invest, right? So highlight those, core points, right? You have to sell yourself, sell your idea, right? What is it that is going to impress the other person about your idea so that they take interest in your idea? I hope that answers your question. You can refer to a few elevator pitches on the internet as well as Shark Tank as well. So I think that will give you a good picture.
Also, if you want a framework, there is something called as two island theory. You can watch a YouTube video on that. It will clearly explain you how to sell your idea in a minute or so.
Thanks, Abhay. So guys, over to Vasu. Vasu.
Yes.
So you can stop sharing.
Yes, you can stop sharing the screen now.
Yeah.
So I want to thank and congratulate once again all the participants for the Sunday morning session, and all our guests, and Professor Balkumar sir and Dr. Shivam Sharma for giving us insightful sessions on sustainable communities and also idea to prototype, and Yamini for this gripping pitch deck. If you still have doubts, I shared links of profiles. You can reach there, or else ideally you can mail us on the help desk on SmartIDEAthon page, and we'll be sending you the pitch deck template. You can go through that also. And yes, I want to thank you once again, and I want to wish you all the best. So just a reminder once again, 15th July, you have to send your modified pitch decks. And based on that, we'll be selecting top 32 participants who will be presenting on the event day. So we can't wait to see you, the promising teams, once again, and wish you all the best.
So just remember, on or before 15th July. You don't have to wait till 15th.
Yes, exactly. On or before 15th of July. Early the best. Yeah. But thank you once again for making it to top 100, and congratulations. See you guys.
Okay, thank you.
All the best, guys.
All
Bye.
the best.
All the best. Bye-bye.
All the best, guys. Bye.